CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock on Monday, August the 17th. Another day with some sunshine, temperatures up into the mid-20s. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, 12 degrees, and we get to the 6 o'clock news with Lisa Best.
Thank you and good morning. We start with the wildfire situation in our province. We have 127 wildfires burning, 44 considered out of control. We've had 12 new starts in the last 24 hours. There's 15 fires burning on Vancouver Island, including 3 that are considered out of control. The firesmoke.ca website shows wildfire smoke will intensify over Greater Victoria between 10 this morning and 9 tonight. Lighter smoke for a couple of hours early Tuesday morning if you're looking to get exercise in and if the smoke bothers your lungs. Support continues to roll out for BC residents affected by the fire on the mainland. The BC government reminding evacuees that accommodation continues to be available for those who fled the Bald Range fire, and those who require continued emergency support services are asked to call the BC Evacuee Helpline. Just before the weekend, the provincial government approximately 1,500 block-booked hotel rooms were available for evacuees. And, of course, a $200 e-transfer is also available for those who chose other accommodation options, such as a hotel and different community camping or staying with friends. Locally, city council campaigns are gaining momentum. CFAX 1070's Koch Cadden explains.
Victoria residents will see a new political party name on the ballot for the upcoming 2026 Victoria City Council and School Board trustee elections. The new municipal political party, Victoria for All, is entering 3 candidates. For City Council, Susan Kim will go for re-election, while first-time council candidate CRD Director Peter Rose Gibbs is also running, and Maya Beach is seeking a seat as a school board trustee. The candidates are campaigning on hot topics including renter protections, affordable housing, expanding mental health care services and climate action. Housing has long been one of the most contentious issues in the city as young workers struggle to find affordable accommodation, while new bills have come up against planning issues including height restrictions. Victoria for All candidates join more than 100 others across 13 municipalities vying for seats on boards and councils over the next 2 months. Meanwhile, a newly formed platform called Livable CRD, a coalition of groups, is looking to filter the noise for voters ahead of voting. The organisation is conducting a survey which will gather candidates' thoughts on big issues while tracking candidates and their platforms. This year's municipal elections will take place on October 17th, with advance voting in the weeks leading up to Election Day. Koch Cadden, CFAX 1070 News.
Stats Canada's latest numbers are in, saying the annual rate of inflation accelerated to 3% in the month of July as drivers once again started paying more to fill up their tank. Inflation has cooled to 2.8% in the month of June as the U.S. and Iran worked towards a peace agreement, but fresh conflict, of course, in July pushed global gas prices higher again. Stats Canada says consumers were paying more for airfares, travel tours last month as the energy shock made jet fuel more expensive, and the FIFA World Cup actually drove up demand to U.S. destinations. Canadians also did find some relief in the grocery aisle. The annual price hike for food brought from the store cooled sharply to 3.1% in July from 3.9% previously. Could be because we're growing our own. Stats Canada says price pressures were easing on fresh vegetables and chicken products, but cost for fresh fruit was rising faster than in June. Now, provincially breaking it down, BC sat at 2.9%. That's slightly up from 2.8% the month prior. City by city, Victoria 3.5%, up from 2.9%. Vancouver pretty steady, holding at 3%. The July inflation figure marks the bank's latest look at price data before its next interest rate decision, which comes on September 2nd. New research shows having a positive relationship with a dog can actually help teens deal better with social stress and anxiety.
It's long been known that pet ownership can be beneficial for children, and researchers at Tufts University in Boston say it can be an especially positive experience for adolescents struggling with social anxiety. Investigators analyzed survey data from more than 500 American kids ages 13 to 17 with high levels of social anxiety and found that companionship with a dog and caring for a dog's needs are associated with more adaptive coping skills. It's an encouraging finding and something doctors say warrants further study. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's your CFAX News 2605. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question: do you think the U.S. president will follow through on new tariffs against Canada this week? Happens Wednesday, if it actually comes to fruition, but 58% say yes, we believe it will. You can vote at cfax1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:06.
Thanks, Lisa, and good morning. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to another week. And if I look ahead to the forecast, it looks like we stay dry and sunny throughout the Monday to Friday period. Maybe a few clouds coming in on the weekend. We'll get to the full details in just a moment. Right now, though, let's take a look at CFAX 1070 Sports. We'll start in soccer, where 18-year-old Rayan Alumi scored in the 77th minute. Thomas Mueller added another goal 5 minutes later to lift the Vancouver Whitecaps to a 2-0 Major League Soccer victory over the host Seattle Sounders. The Whitecaps move back into top spot in the Western Conference with 37 points, 2 ahead of the Houston Dynamo. Seattle sitting 11th in the West. Victoria Shamrocks continuing the WLA final tonight with Game 2 at the Coquitlam Sports Centre. The Shamrocks opened the series with a dramatic 7-6 win over the Adnacks on Saturday. And for the Victoria Junior A Shamrocks, they opened up their 2026 Minto Cup tournament, which is going on in Alberta. Their first game was yesterday afternoon. They got a hard-fought, but in the end, not the result they wanted, a loss. A hard-fought 11-8 loss to the Calgary Mountaineers. Next game is tonight against the Raiders of Calgary. Now, this is the round-robin stage of the Minto Cup tournament, so each of the 4 teams will play each other once before they go on to the knockouts. Toronto Blue Jays, 1 game back of an American League wildcard berth after Sunday's MLB action, get a day off today after winning 2 of 3 weekend games against the visiting New York Yankees. The Jays, who have won 7 of their last 10, dropped a 4-3 decision in 10 innings to the Yankees yesterday. The Jays open a 3-game series tomorrow against the host Tampa Bay Rays. And the visiting Seattle Mariners nabbing a 3-2 win over the Houston Astros. The Mariners are 2.5 games out of an AL wild card berth. That's your CFAX 1070 Sports at 6:08. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Well, what's going on right now on the roads? Nothing. It's clear. No traffic volume, no crashes to report. If you see something, though, you can text me at 71010. BC Ferry, Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen, also fairly calm there. We are busy, but no sailing waits as of yet. The 7 o'clock from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen, nearly 90% full, but there's still some room left there. In the weather forecast, sunshine today, a little bit of breeze off the water, highs at 24. We have that humidity that's been around, still kind of in the air, so at times it could feel a little warmer. And for tonight, a few clouds, lows to 13. Mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow. Temperatures very similar. We'll see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday all looking about the same. Some clouds rolling in on the weekend. Right now it looks like just clouds. No precipitation as of yet, but we'll keep our eyes on the forecast. Right now for our temperatures, right now in downtown Victoria, it is 13 degrees. The official temperature, though, at the airport is 12. North American stock market's opening up a little later this hour, so while we await today's results, let's look at how things closed off last week with Aaron Sousa.
Canadian and U.S. markets closed lower on Friday amid concerns over a slowing U.S. economy. Toronto's S&P TSX dropped 29 points to 36,730. In New York, the Dow lost 107 points, while the Nasdaq slipped 73. Meanwhile, Asian markets closed higher today. In Tokyo, the Nikkei was up 506 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong rose 1.3%. Our dollar is is trading around 72.18 cents US. Canada-US Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc spent the weekend in Washington. He met with Donald Trump's trade czar as the clock ticks down to another round of American tariffs. The new 50% levies on Canadian goods are set for Wednesday. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Newfoundland and Labrador today. He'll join Premiers Tony Wakeham and Christine Fréchette for an energy announcement between Newfoundland and Quebec. And we'll get fresh inflation numbers from Statistics Canada today. Economists expect Canada's inflation rate ticked up to 2.9% in July. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on CFAX on a Monday as we get things started. I'm Ryan. We got Lisa on the news desk. How was your weekend, Lisa?
Fantastic. Good weather.
Yes, it was actually very nice. And even yesterday, though, here's the one thing I'll observe about the weather. I want to know if anybody else has the same observation. Does it feel like a little bit of fall is creeping into things?
Yeah.
There's just a little
I
bit
didn't
of
want to say that.
a little sense of it in the air. Just a
Don't.
little bit.
Ryan, don't encourage it.
The leaves have kind of...
Stop.
I feel like the leaves are coming a little early.
We're going to blame you.
Okay. Just
All
saying.
the kids
I don't know.
out there are saying that means school's starting. Stop it.
But at the same time, it's still warm. It's still summer. It's just like there's just this little sense of it.
There is something.
This little something
Yeah, there's
in
a
the
little
air.
something in the air. That's
It was
true.
very busy, though, this weekend.
Yes.
It seemed like no matter where you turned, there was some kind of event.
A street closure.
Or street closure. Yeah, you had the Tour de Victoria going through, the big cycle race. I had some friends who did it. It looked like a fantastic time, as it always is. Congratulations to everybody who competed against themselves. Again, it's not really a race, as we were talking to Ryder Hejdahl, who is the guy the thing's named after. We talked to him on Friday, and he was mentioning that that's the spirit of the thing. And hopefully it was a good spirit when you're out there. If you did the bike ride. But there's so many other things as well. I went for just like a casual bike ride yesterday, and I came across there was a big pet thing along Dallas Road.
That was huge.
For dogs.
Everybody and their dog there.
There was a book sale. Russell Books has this warehouse in James Bay.
Cool.
They did the Russell Books warehouse sale,
And
which
did you buy anything?
So I went with my wife, and she found a couple of things. So we did come away. But there, if anybody else went, see if you had the same observation. There was no organization to it. It was just piles of books.
Love it.
Randomly strewn about.
Organized chaos.
They had bins outside, and then you could go into the warehouse and actually look at the shelves there, which is actually kind of neat, kind of fun experience to go through. But there was no rhyme or reason to how any of the books were displayed, other than the only thing I could see was that there had to be a Robert Ludlum novel every 5 feet. Not in any order. It's not like here's.
Are you a fan or just this is your observation?
No, I kept seeing his name. I guess it's an author I recognized. So I was like, oh, there's this must be where the Robert Ludlums are. Are there other L authors around here? No. What about other kind of thriller books? No. So it just seems like randomly Robert Ludlum everywhere, in no particular order. Just
maybe the universe is trying to tell you something.
Maybe I should have bought one just because.
You start reading his work or become a spy or something.
Texter at 71010 says, I agree with Ryan. It feels like fall, cooler at night and cooler in the very early evening.
This is true. It does. But I find all summer it's cooled off. Like there's some summers we get where it doesn't cool off at night very well. I find that it has cooled off quite nicely, especially in Greater Victoria. I mean, we've got the ocean nearby, but even with that, I find it's just not as hot at night.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my imagination. You can share if you feel differently. But it's very pleasant at night and it cools off first thing in the morning. There was a breeze actually off the ocean yesterday, but I'm closer too. So if you're not, tell us what your weather's been like overnight.
Well, let us know at 71010. But thank you for the text. Always love it when you join the conversation. We're watching a number of things today. Locally, if you take a bus, you'll notice that the drivers won't be wearing their uniforms. This is the job action that's kicking in. We'll see how that plays out today. Nationally, we're watching because we're a couple of days away from the big trade deadline. Wednesday's the day. Canadian and U.S. officials still trying to see if they can avoid the big tariffs. That's going on. And then at the end of the day on Friday, we had the big political news with Peter Millibar leaving the BC Conservatives. We had the news about Brenda Bailey, the finance minister with the NDP government, cancer announcement. She's stepping aside, and there was a big shuffle. So much going on. So we're going to actually talk a little BC politics coming up in a few moments as well. So lots on the show, lots to watch today. Right now, let's get to the headlines. What else is going on? Lisa, take it away.
We talk about wildfires in the province. There's 127 burning across BC. It is expected to be a long road of recovery for many of those thousands forced out of their homes and out of their businesses in the Okanagan by wildfire earlier this month. Mike Stoland is a local winemaker there. He briefly returned to his Summerland vineyards on Saturday after being ordered out by the threat to the Bald Range wildfire. He found most of his property intact, except for a corner where some stored materials was destroyed. Summer is usually peak season, of course, for wine tourism across Summerland, but the fires have forced the wineries in towns to close temporarily. And, of course, the tourists aren't coming in droves because of the smoke and the fire threat. Actress Hayden Panettiere has died at the age of 36. Police in Greenville, South Carolina, says she was found unresponsive at an apartment complex on Sunday. There are no signs of foul play, and an autopsy, they say, will be performed. Panettiere had a prolific career dating to 1996. Her credits include the voice of Dot in A Bug's Life, Remember the Titans, and Scream 6. She starred in a TV series as well, Heroes and Nashville. And soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo is off the market. At least he's still on the pitch, though. That model, Georgina Rodriguez, and the two have officially tied the knot. The couple got married in their own living room at their home in Portugal on August 11th with their 5 children attending the ceremony. That was it, just the 7 of them. Ronaldo and Rodriguez wore Gucci, designed by the house artistic director to commemorate the 10-year anniversary of where they met at a Gucci store in Madrid. And that is your news to 617.
Texter at 71010 says, hello, Ryan and Lisa. I was going to ask if you noticed that it was chillier, especially at night this weekend, and some leaves are changing color. Really windy last night, too. Yeah, okay, there's somebody else observing it as well.
I've got 3 of you now that I'm blaming if fall comes early.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was actually Googling it a bit, and I found a CTV article, but it was from Halifax, so I don't know if it covers us. But they were also observing that their leaves were changing color and falling early.
Well,
and there was a whole Halifax news article about this going on.
That's also dry.
Yeah.
That a lack of water will cause trees to do that. So.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had a bit of rain, so Victoria has not had the driest of summers, so
True.
That might not be what's causing it for us, but and I might just be imagining it as well.
We haven't had frost, though.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're not. No, we're nowhere near that.
I don't think the trees have stopped running the sap simply because, they got to chill. Take the knitting. What do we do here? We do yarn bombing.
Oh, yeah, they were doing that in Fernwood.
Wrap your tree.
Yeah, there was another thing going on, the Fernwood knitting thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Fiberfest. And
there you go.
wrap it so the leaves stay on it. We want a little bit more summer.
There we go.
Okay.
Keep it going. Okay, we got to talk BC politics because Rob Botterill, the MLA for Saanich North and the Islands, he's with the BC Greens. He's also the finance critic. He's going to be joining us in just a moment with his take on all of the BC politics that was coming fast and furious on Friday after our show. So we're getting a chance to react to it now. We'll get into that next. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by CUPE Vancouver Island, working to deliver the public services island communities rely on. CUPE, better services, better communities. In traffic and weather for the roads, it's very clear right now. No major issues on any of our major routes. Everything is smooth sailing. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. No sailing rates at BC Ferries. 90% full, though, the 7 o'clock from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And in the weather forecast, it's mostly sunny today. We'll see temperatures in the mid-20s. Could feel a little warmer and some humidity, which continues to linger. We've been seeing that for a while now. And clear skies tonight, lows to 13 expected. Bit of breeze, though, at times off the Juan de Fuca Strait. Also just a thing to mention in our forecast.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at cfax1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, Friday brought some significant shakeups in BC politics after a cabinet shuffle following Minister Brenda Bailey's disclosure that she will be seeking cancer treatment. We have Josie Osborne taking on the finance file in her absence. We'll see Ravi Kahlon going to health, which is where Josie Osborne was. Bailey takes up jobs with Adrian Dix, stepping in while she is undertaking treatment. We'll see that all happening with the government. Now, then on the Conservative side, BC finance critic with the Conservatives, Peter Millibar, left his caucus to sit as an independent, citing a mismatch of values with the party's new direction. Of course, Carolyn Findlay, the new leader there, has been shaking things up. So this is the NDP. This is the Greens. Well, we got a whole other party sitting there in the legislature looking at all this and reacting. Rob Botterill is the BC Green finance critic, local MLA, joining us on the line to share his thoughts. Rob Botterill, it sure sounds like once you lay it all out like that, a lot happened on Friday.
Oh, yeah. It seems these things always happen on a Friday. But, yeah, the just as you mentioned in the intro, for the finance part of this equation in government, we now have Josie Osborne as the Minister of Finance, and you know, I understand that the need to do that, and I should first say I want to send all of our best wishes to Brenda Bailey for a full and speedy recovery. But when I look at that particular decision of the Premier, it's a bit of a head scratcher. You know, why would you move Josie Osborne over to finance? She's fully up to speed on health, and there's huge challenges in that ministry. So, you know, the curious political calculation there is, why wouldn't you put Ravi Kahlon in finance and leave Josie where she's working on, you know, emergency room closures and lack of doctors and getting that solved, and all sorts of challenges in health. And then you have the drama in the Conservative opposition. Peter Millibar is, you know, while we have our differences on some policy issues, is a very capable, respected finance critic for the Conservatives, and more of a moderate, and you know, that's a bit of a head scratcher, because you look at it, and I thought, I mean, we were waiting to see whether the new leader, Carolyn Findlay, would be going after a big tent approach, bringing everybody together, or a small tent, maybe a pup tent. And here we are, losing one of your most capable opposition members. So it's been a bit of a head scratcher watching these two changes.
I think a lot of folks were wondering what would happen with Peter Millibar specifically, because as his background, during the BC Conservative leadership contest, Peter Millibar was one of the candidates trying to lead the party, and Carolyn Findlay, the eventual winner, was there. And those two in particular really seemed to butt heads in a way that got quite nasty at times and quite personal at times. So there was a lot of speculation about whether or not these two people could coexist in this party and what would happen. And I guess we have our answer now. No, they can't. Do you think that's the reason here, maybe more so than with other BC Conservatives? There was a very specific history here that might have led to this decision?
Well, I think that's part of it, and you know, Peter Millibar can speak to that and has spoken to that more directly. But they clashed over the Peter Miliband's wife's role, and that she's Indigenous and she's working in for a First Nation. And, Carrie Lynn Finley, pretty much right out of the gate, has been challenging, makes some pretty challenging statements for moderates about how First Nations should maybe not even suggesting not using the word First Nations anymore, and sort of tacking the Conservatives to the right on that issue. And I think, Peter Miliband just said, look, that's one bridge too far. Though that's not consistent with my values, and I want to be part of a party that can accommodate more moderate views, and we have our answer.
It's interesting to see the makeup of the BC legislature that'll take us into this next fall session. We're not there yet, but when we get there, you'll have the governing NDP, you've got the BC Conservatives as opposition, and then you got the BC Greens there, as they always are, yourself. But now we've got so many other kind of individuals, whether they be independent or they've got a fledgling party banner that they're flying. There's just a lot of other kind of smaller individuals there, as opposed to what we're used to seeing in BC politics with your government opposition and the other opposition, the Greens. Does it change things as much if you got so many other individuals who aren't beholden to one of the big parties?
Well, I think what it does is it introduces a degree of uncertainty in the legislature. I mean, Peter Miliband is the 7th MLA to either resign or be kicked out of the Conservative caucus since the 2024 provincial election. And I mean, the most recent was MLA Amelia Boltby going over to the NDP. It doesn't really, with MLA Boltby's move to the NDP have a majority and can govern, but on a day-to-day basis, with 7 independents all essentially taking different positions, it makes for a much more chaotic type of session. And I think what we're going to see in the fall session is some really challenging days. But that's the nature of it. You need parties in place to govern, and what the Conservatives are demonstrating under their new leader is that they're looking for a smaller tent rather than a bigger tent, and that's going to make it difficult for the Conservatives. But that's the path forward. And we'll see what happens.
Rob Botterill is the member of the legislature for Saanich North of the Islands with the BC Green Party. He's their finance critic, he's their House leader, and he's reacting to all of the bombshells that were going off on Friday in the world of BC politics. Much appreciated. Love getting your take, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Great. Thanks very much. Take care.
All right, there we go. We got many more things going on in the news, so Lisa's going to talk all about it at 6:30 in just a few moments here. We got your traffic, weather, and sports, too. Keep with us.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50/50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 6:31 on this Monday, August 17th. Right now we're sitting at 12 degrees, mostly clear skies, a few clouds off in the distance, and we'll get you a full forecast in a moment. Right now the news begins. Here is Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning. Despite what's described as another constructive meeting between Canadian and American officials yesterday, sources from both sides still says they're still not close to reaching a deal on tariffs and trade. But what we know is drawing closer is Wednesday's deadline for Donald Trump's new 50% tariff threats on a wide range of Canadian products. CTV's Michael Serapio has the latest details.
This member of the Prime Minister's Advisory Council says Canada should not be afraid of fighting back.
These are the things that got us to a place to be able to now use that leverage to get a better deal.
Now, whether a better deal can be reached by August 19 is yet to be seen, but today's virtual meeting can be seen as a positive sign. And that's because Jameson Greer did carve out time to make it happen, walking away from his own birthday celebrations with loved ones.
It's unclear what the plan for negotiations is for the next 48 hours. Now, Toronto-based international trade lawyer Barry Appleton shared his expertise on the state of the tariff talks.
We've had a fifth meeting and no deal. That's got to tell you something. What we've really got is a leveraged situation imposed by Donald Trump, and he's asking for surge pricing. And we're asking, okay, reduce the price. And I don't see that as the basis for getting a deal. All the signs tell us that this is going to be bumpy at best.
Wednesday is the deadline for the trade talks. Now, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre once again slamming Mark Carney's approach and lack of results. He made an announcement while on the West Coast yesterday, speaking how the tariffs will impact this province.
The approach of Mr. Carney has failed demonstrably and has threatened the jobs of British Columbians and all Canadians. 30 mills have closed in British Columbia under the Liberals' watch as a result of their diplomatic failures.
Another round of talks held yesterday were considered constructive but didn't really go far. Now, Pierre Poilievre also urging the feds to extend their soon set to expire gas tax cut until next July. Poilievre says Canadians could get another 10 months of relief at the pumps at least. The cut was first put into effect to bring the price down by 10 cents to combat the effects of the war between the U.S. and Iran. Amid all these trade talks, a weekly release poll shows Carney's Liberal government is holding a double-digit lead over the Conservatives. Liaison Strategies puts the Liberals' support at 43% compared to the Conservatives at 32%. Carney's approval rating across the country has risen to about 60% at this point. In comparison, Pierre Poilievre's approval rating nationwide sits at 35%, while 53% disapprove of the job that he's actually doing as Conservative leader. And then the lighter stuff, one dog having a pretty rough time being beautiful, and that's exactly why this pup is champion.
Ginny Lou, a 6-year-old pug, is now the world's ugliest dog. She was crowned the winner at the 50th annual World's Ugliest Dog contest held at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds in Santa Rosa, California. Her owner, Michelle Grady, will get $5,000 and the opportunity for Jimmy Lou to appear on a mug root beer can. It was Ginny Lou's 4th attempt to be declared the ugliest. I'm Monica Nelson.
Always a bridesmaid. That's your news to 6:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking you if you think the U.S. president will follow through on new terror threats against Canada come Wednesday. 58% say yes. You can vote now at cfax1070.com or on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time, 6:36.
Thanks, Lisa. 12 degrees right now in Victoria, heading towards a high of 24. We'll get a full forecast your way in just a moment. Over to the sports. So we have in the world of soccer. Let's start there. Whitecaps with a win. Rayon Yumi and Thomas Mueller scored in the second half. Goalkeeper Takayaka wasn't tested, and the visiting Vancouver Whitecaps handed the Seattle Sounders a club record 7th straight defeat in MLS play with the Whitecaps' 2-0 win last night. The Caps now move 2 points ahead of the Houston Dynamo for top spot in the Western Conference, and they're going to host Texas on Wednesday. Okay, over to the Victoria Shamrocks, because a lot's going on. The Victoria Junior A Shamrocks opened up their 2026 Minto Cup tournament yesterday with an 11-8 loss to the Calgary Mountaineers. Next game is tonight against the Raiders of Calgary. The round-robin stage is continuing, so each of the 4 teams in the Minto Cup will play each other first, then the knockouts begin. And for the senior Shamrocks, the Victoria Shamrocks continue their WLA final tonight with Game 2 at the Coquitlam Sports Centre. The first game was played at home at the Q Centre, and the Shamrocks won that one 7-6 over the Coquitlam Adnax. Toronto Blue Jays with the day off yesterday. They had a win over the visiting New York Yankees. The Jays have won 7 of their last 10. They've won 7 of the last 10, but they lost yesterday's game in 10 innings to the Yankees. I should correct that. The visiting Seattle Mariners nabbed a 3-2 win over the Houston Astros. The Mariners now 2.5 games out of an AL wildcard playoff berth. And that is your CFAX Sports to 6:38. CFAX activity, traffic, and weather. Things are fairly light on the roads. No major crashes or accidents. No major volume delays out of the West Shore into Victoria as of yet. If you see otherwise, you can text me at 71010. But just giving you the early heads up that things are sailing smooth right now. But we did get a sailing way to the BC Ferries. 7 o'clock sailing from Swartz Bay to Swanson is now full. The 8 is your next vessel with any vehicle deck space available. For the weather, it's a fairly sunny day with just a little bit of breeze off the water. Highs of 24, maybe feeling a bit more humid. So feeling like 28 degrees. That's our Humidex, 28. That's a day kind of like the last couple of days. It's pretty stable. Tuesday, it's going to be very much the same. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all kind of temperatures into the mid-20s is a high, and low temperatures going down anywhere between 12 and 14 degrees. That's kind of the range. Things start to change on the weekend. It looks like a few clouds are going to roll in, a bit cloudier. We don't necessarily have rain in the forecast for those clouds as of yet. Just looks like it gets overcast on the weekend, but we'll keep our eyes on that one. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. If you need a cab, download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian owned and run since 1946.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, I was mentioning, and it was just a comment, just that it felt a little more at times like fall.
It
just
all
like
starts
a little
with
bit.
the innocent comment.
Yeah. We got lots of texters joining me on that one, just talking about the weather, how it's changing. This texter says, let's go back to it. You know, fall is coming when the Yellow Jackets get their attitude on, and spiders, too, look for a spot to cast their web for winter treats. That's from Dawn. Thank you for the text.
Wasps are spicy on a good day.
That's true, yeah. the attitude in the yellow jacket starts to pick up. And I did notice the spiders are getting into the house. I got 2 kids. One of them is not a big fan of spiders, and I'm dad, so I'm the one on spider patrol. So I get the call, the shout from somewhere in the house, and it's time for me to go and
deal with it.
Now I don't know about you guys. Are you the type of person who kills the spider?
No,
or do you
not.
trap the spider awkwardly in some kind of cup? You try to slide the magazine underneath to kind of, seal it in, and then you
piece of paper, yeah.
and then you nervously march it towards the door.
Make sure the paper's strong enough that it couldn't give way somehow.
Yeah, and if you're stuck with just paper, you got to fold it a couple times to give it that rigidity it needs.
I do that with wasps.
Okay.
If a spider's not in my way, if it's creating web somewhere that's out of my way, I leave it.
Well, I don't mind the spiders. I tend to think the spiders are taking care of other bugs, let them go.
The things that are bitey, even mosquitoes, right?
Yeah.
It takes care of all that nonsense for you.
But I also understand, and like
it's
I said,
like a Roomba.
A person in my
with 8
house.
legs.
A Roomba for bugs.
With 8 legs.
I love it. I do have a person in my house, though, who's can't handle the spiders being around.
Understood. Yeah, you're on cleanup duty.
Yeah. So
do you take it outside?
Yeah, I take it outside.
Okay. Yeah.
Release it. Hopefully it runs the other way, not back towards the house. Now, I'm not. I've got no problem with spiders.
I don't think it's out to get you particularly.
Yeah. I've got no problem with spiders, but the ones at this time of year that start to get in, the big ones, what do they think? The wolf spiders?
Oh, well, they bite.
They're big.
They bite.
And they also jump.
What?
Yeah, a bit of a jump. So, spiders are fine. Those ones, though, they're just...
So do you put like a spacesuit on before you go after the wolf spider?
Well, I'm just always a little extra nervous as I carry my cup and my magazine or whatever it is that's holding the thing in place. What if I...
chewing through the paper.
What if I slip? And you can hear them because they're big enough that they start bouncing around and you hear this noise.
Slightly terrifying.
Those particular spiders.
You're so terrified about these little things, right?
Exactly. It's weird. All the other spiders are fine. Those guys, and I know they're mostly harmless.
Are you a wolf, Jack? Are you a wolf spider?
I've done interviews on those guys before.
Have you ever been bitten by one?
No, I've never.
Yeah.
Never. You?
Really?
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Leaves a bit of a dent. A big welt. A big welt.
Because I've done interviews on these spiders before because this always comes up this year. And so a few years I've actually reached out to some spider experts. And those ones, apparently the reason they get into your house, I've been told, is they're looking for love. This is the time where they start moving around to mate. And they're exploring to try to find
all new to me.
Mates, and that's why they're getting into your house. That was what I was
your house is
told.
party central?
Yeah.
Interesting.
This texter at 71010 says, I'm a cup and coaster gal. Yes, the coaster would be a good, rigid, spider trapping substance. I agree. That's a good one. I got some coasters. I could use a coaster.
Coasters work very well, actually. I have used a coaster. Yes.
They would be better than folded paper.
Your paper's not thick enough. You got to be safe.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were looking for love when they came in.
That's what I was told. Once upon a time, I did an interview with an expert about hey, why are these spiders getting into my house at this time of year always? And that was the reason.
They want to. They're squatters, basically. I mean, if you could work out a deal, you'd be getting some cash on the side.
Again, if you can handle the spiders, it's not like they're doing much. They're just catching bugs for you.
Taking care of business, looking for love.
This texter says, I have 2 cats and they eat the spiders. So my home is spider-free since I owned cats. That's
it's
from
like
Jesse.
the dogs with the lizards. Dogs fast enough will catch those lizards.
Yes. So I've got those lizards. I know which ones you're talking about. The invasive lizards that are now taking over the capital region.
Yeah.
My dog is very aware of them. And I can't usually see them unless I get really up close. But she notices them. And so she, the ears perk up and she starts doing
them?
She does. She never catches them. Okay. My dog. But, I mean, I'd imagine.
I've seen dogs catch them.
Better dogs probably would.
Not pretty.
Yeah.
Put down your spoon.
6:45. What are we doing? That means it's time for the headlines. Hey, if you got spider tips, let me know at 71010.
Lizards and spiders.
Lizards and spider tips.
How's your breakfast going?
What's going on with the news?
Let's talk transit. Today, transit workers may be very casually dressed when you get on the bus today. Members of Unifor Local 333 BC will begin a uniform ban to start job action in the Victoria area. That means the bus will still come, but your driver might be in a Hawaiian shirt as Ryan suggested. The Victoria Transit Riders Union will hold a solidarity rally outside the BC Transit office here in Victoria. That's at 520 Gorge Road East. That goes at 4 o'clock this afternoon. The VTRU is calling on BC Transit to offer drivers, mechanics, electricians, and other workers a fair deal with decent wages and working conditions. They said they're gathering for a solidarity rally on day one of the uniform ban to help apply pressure in hopes the workers will not be forced to escalate the strike action. Over the weekend, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre slamming Mark Carney for not reaching a trade deal with the U.S. He's also urging the feds to extend their soon-to-expire gas tax cut until next July. Poilievre says Canadians should get another 10 months of relief at the pumps at least. The cut was first put in place, in effect, to bring the price down by 10 cents to combat the effect of the war between the U.S. and Iran. A tropical storm, Layla, has lost some steam as it moves westward away from the Hawaiian Islands, the main ones anyway. After leaving a trail of destruction, at least one person has died after the hurricane or tropical storm blew through, bringing torrential rain, widespread flooding, and mudslides to the big island of Hawaii. And that is your news to 647.
Texter 71010 says, well, Ryan, those wolf spiders can look for love somewhere else. Their bite hurts.
Yes.
And the texter goes on to say, a mason jar works.
Oh, yep.
Hey, okay, here's what I like about the mason jar or some sort of clear plastic container. You can at least see that you still have it.
But it gets to stare at you.
Because what happens?
And it gets to go, I see you.
That's true.
I'm looking at you.
You know what the worst is?
What?
When you get to outside and you pull the cup off, but it's not there. And you're like, well, where did it go? Is it on me? And then you get that. So having the clear cup so you can keep, eyeballs on the spider at all times, that's key. Mason jar. I love it. Thank you, texter.
It's very scientific.
It's a lot going on here. Hey, I'm Dad. I got to be the Spider Patrol guy. I have to do it all the time.
You don't like the job at all.
I know. I don't. I'd rather not do it.
You should get danger pay.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Extra hugs, kid. Okay. Well, hey, we've been talking about Victoria Shamrocks because you got both the Shamrocks and the Junior A Shamrocks in great spots right now. The WA final for the Shamrocks and then the Minto Cup, which is the junior level's big event. It's going on in Calgary right now. We were mentioning they lost their first game yesterday. They got game 2 coming up tonight. You know who else is there in Calgary following along? Longtime regular listeners will know that our boss man Brad Challoner, is a lacrosse play-by-play guy, and he's actually there as part of these games doing the play-by-play. So he's going to be talking to us in just a second as we get into some Shamrocks lacrosse on both sides, but particularly the Minto Cup because he's been there. What's it like? We're going to find out next.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070. Show with Tony Joe.
Everyone wants to know about real estate. Is the market going up or down? Time to buy or sell? How can government programs and policies affect you? Hear from local experts on topics like appraisal, inspection, investment, and others on how to maximize your real estate sale.
Providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe. Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070.
Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Heading out on a summer road trip? Well, shop at Thrifty Foods, swipe your Scene Plus card, and save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See you in store for details. We've been talking about traffic. There's not much happening on the roads. There is something happening with buses, as we've been talking about. Lisa was mentioning in the news, of course, that the job action begins today for transit drivers here in Victoria. They're still driving. They're just not going to be wearing their uniforms. And this texter at 71010 with a little more information on this topic. Texter says, my friend is a transit driver, and he says most will be wearing prescribed uniform shirts today. They're red and white. So they're just wearing a different kind of uniform today. No Hawaiian shirts, though, which is sad because I was hoping. Cut-off jeans and a Hawaiian shirt. The roads are looking good. We've got the buses still moving despite the job action. And at BC Ferries, a one-sail wait. 7 o'clock sailing is full from Swartz Bay to Swassen. For the weather, it's going to be another sunny day. A little humidity back in the air. Highs at 24, a humidex at 28. We will see clear skies tonight, lows to 13. And through it all, just a bit of breeze off the Juan de Fuca Strait. Right now, it is 12 degrees.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Well, he's our boss, but he's also a lacrosse play-by-play guy. Following the Minto Cup as the Victoria Junior A Shamrocks have gotten underway. They got their first game of the tournament in yesterday. Let's talk about it. Brad Challoner is here. Brad, how you doing?
Good morning, guys. You couldn't keep me away, hey? I just couldn't have a Monday morning off.
No, well, you see, that's the thing. You think you're taking a week off, but we pulled you back in.
You took time off to work, so don't complain.
It's true. It is true.
It's your
my
love.
fault. And my pleasure. Nice to hear you guys' voices on a Monday.
Well, we got to get to lacrosse in a second, but I have to ask you a completely different question first. Brad, you're a dad as well. Are you the guy in charge of spider disposal in your household?
So here's the deal. I've been married 13 years now, and in our wedding vows, in our wedding vows, I had the line, I will kill spiders for you.
It was that critical.
It was that critical. It was like the Bryan Adams, everything I do, I will fight for you, I'll walk away for you, I will kill spiders for you.
Yeah.
That was in our vows.
Wow.
So for the last 13 years, I've been spider murderer or displacer in our house.
So is that a modern-day man's version of slaying the dragon?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Especially the big wolf spiders we get in Victoria sometimes, right? Those are scary little buggers.
That's what we've been talking about. Those guys are coming out now, and it's I don't mind being on spider disposal duty myself, which is my job in the house. But when it comes to the wolf spiders, they're just a little extra. I don't know. There's a bit more to it.
Nasty.
You gotta focus a little more. Texter at 71010 says, happy Monday, Ryan and Lisa. The only risk spiders take around here with Chunky the death cat is if she sits on them. However, Martin Mars, which is another cat, has become the lion of the living room and is quite effective at spider removal. However, it's the crunching as he eats them that creeps me out.
All right, too far. There should have been a disclaimer with that.
That took a turn.
Breakfast
People
show.
are having food.
Oh, no. Okay. We better get to lacrosse talk, but let me know about your spider stories at 71010 if you want to. It's like early Halloween here. Anyways, we got the Minto Cup going on. Junior A Shamrocks going all the way to the big tournament for their level of lacrosse. That's where you are, Brad, because you're doing some play-by-play. Opened things up with a loss yesterday, but we're in a round-robin stage of this tournament. Maybe you can talk us through how this tournament works.
Yeah, so it's similar to the Memorial Cup at the junior level for hockey. There's a BC champ, there's an Ontario champ, there's an Alberta champ, and then there's a host city. And this year in particular, Raiders LC, which is based in Calgary, they are the Alberta champs, but they're also the host. So another Calgary team, the Mountaineers, got in as well, who faced them in the final and lost. So the round-robin format, each team will play each other once over the next 3 days, and then the last place team will go home. The first place team will get a bye to the best of three finals, which starts on Friday. And the second and third place teams will play a semifinal game on Wednesday.
Okay, so that's the format of the tournament. How are the Victoria Junior A Shamrocks looking so far? We know they had a tough loss yesterday, but it seemed like a hard-fought one. Talk about how this team's looking.
Yeah, they got punched in the face yesterday. To be quite frank, they allowed the first 5 goals on the first 5 shots, which is kind of unheard of. And the thing about a tournament like this is that they haven't played against Calgary, Okotoks, or St. Catharines all year long. So they don't know how fast these teams are, how big and physical they are, what they feel like. There's like a feeling out process when you play against a team for the very first time that plays in a completely different league than you do. And I don't think they were ready for the step up in intensity and pace that this national championship Minto Cup brings. There's 2 other teams in this tournament, St. Catharines and Raiders LC, which were here last year. So they know the level that this tournament kind of gets up to. And I don't think Victoria was ready. And they allowed the first 5 goals in the game, so they were behind the 8 ball early and had to slowly kind of chip away and get out of that hole all game long. They made it actually a 9-8 game late in the third period, but a transition goal by Calgary and then another insurance marker, and then it was they pulled ahead and it was too little too late. So, they have to come out tonight and have a better start and kind of bring the game down to a pace that they know, or find a way to elevate to how fast these Calgary teams and the St. Catharines teams have been played. So, they weren't prepared yesterday. Their goaltender that they traded for, and that was their playoff MVP, was the guy who allowed the 5 goals on 5 shots, and they pulled him, and he didn't come back into the game. And they went back to a local player by the name of Angus Snow, who played some good minutes down the stretch, but you get down early in a tournament like this, sometimes it's too big of a hole to climb out of, and that's what happened with them yesterday.
Well, hopefully today they can turn things around. The Junior A Shamrocks at the Minto Cup in the round-robin stage. Now, it's also cool because we got the Senior Shamrocks, the big team, also in the WA final, seeing if they can book their ticket to the next, big national tournament. It's neat to see both of our both of these 2 lacrosse teams doing so well right now. It seems like a really fun moment, a really energizing moment to be a Victoria lacrosse fan.
Yeah, it's a very proud moment too, because if you look at these rosters like this, they're both very homegrown. So it just goes to show the fact that Victoria lacrosse in general, whether you're from Saanich or Juan de Fuca or Peninsula, like their minor systems are doing it right. They're feeding the junior Shamrocks, which in turn are feeding the senior Shamrocks. So, I think this really starts at the minor level over the last decade or so around Vancouver Island, that we're able to produce players at such a high caliber level. And both these teams are set up for success. Like the junior Shamrocks are hosting this Minto Cup tournament next year, and the senior Shamrocks are a perennial powerhouse. So, the Mann Cup is back in the West Coast next year. I'm not getting too far ahead of myself, but there is a chance that both national championships at the major lacrosse level, at the Minto Cup and the Mann Cup, could be in Victoria next summer. So they're kind of really building something special right now. And this junior team that we're covering in Calgary this week, they've got a handful of graduating players that are going to go on to play for the senior Shamrocks next year. So their youth movement kind of continues with local players, and the success of the junior club kind of feeds the success of the senior club. They all go hand in hand, and I think we should be very proud to be Island lacrosse fans right now.
Brad Challoner, lacrosse commentator. He's also our boss here at CFAX 1070. Watch out for spiders and enjoy the lacrosse.
Thank you, guys. Have an amazing week. Miss you, and I'll see you next week.
We'll talk soon. We got the 7 o'clock news coming up next on CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 7:01 on Monday, August the 17th. Another sunny day in store. Temperatures into the mid-20s. Right now, we're sitting at 12. And a beautiful sunrise coming up over Victoria right now, by the way, if you can catch it. Let's get to the news. Here is Lisa Best.
BC wildfire front, we have 127 wildfires burning this hour, 44 of those considered out of control. There's been 9 new starts in the last 24 hours, 15 new fires on Vancouver Island. I should say 15 in total, but 3 of those considered out of control, smattering a jump from what we had on Friday. Firesmoke.ca shows the wildfire smoke will intensify over Greater Victoria between 10 this morning and 9 tonight. Then lighter smoke expected for a few hours on Tuesday morning if you're looking for the time to get outside if it does bother you. Victoria residents will see a new political party name on the ballot for the upcoming 2026 Victoria City Council and SD61 School Board Trustee elections. Victoria for All is entering 3 new candidates for City Council. Susan Kim will go for re-election for the first time. Council candidate CRD Director Peter Rose Gibbs is also running. And Maya Beach is seeking a seat as a school board trustee. The candidates are campaigning on topics including renter protection, affordable housing, and expanding mental health care services, as well as climate action. This year's municipal action will happen on October 17th. CFAX will bring you all the details that night and, of course, follow up and follow out on the following day. Transit workers are starting job action today in Greater Victoria. Now, your bus is still going to come, but the members of Unifor Local 333 BC will be dressed differently. There's a uniform ban now in place, so they'll be wearing their union shirts. The Victoria Transit Riders Union will also hold a solidarity rally outside of the BC Transit office. That's at 520 Gorge Road East at 4 o'clock today. The VTRU is calling on BC Transit to offer the bus drivers, mechanics, electricians, and other transit workers represented by the union a fair deal. VTRU says it's disappointed that BC Transit has failed to make a reasonable offer to these workers after more than 16 months of negotiations for a new contract. Speaking of negotiations, Canada's top trade negotiators stuck around Washington for the weekend as the new tariff of U.S. tariffs threat looms for Wednesday. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Chief Negotiator Jenna Charette met virtually with the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer for an hour on Sunday. An evening statement from an aide to LeBlanc said the meeting was constructive and discussions are continuing.
Talks have intensified in recent weeks since U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order to impose 50% tariffs this Wednesday that would apply to a variety of goods from cement to hockey sticks. The Americans said the new levies were a response to provincial bans on U.S. liquor, the supply-managed dairy system, and quotas on some U.S. vehicles. The meeting took place virtually because Sunday was Greer's birthday.
On Friday, Greer had said talks have been constructive, but insisted Canada must lift its retaliatory measures to avoid the new tariffs coming into play on Wednesday. He said the U.S. has had major trade issues with Canada for decades. Madison Square Garden is defending facial recognition scans that track people inside the arena and at Radio City Music Hall.
In a statement, MSG says people have been recognizing each other's faces since the beginning of time. We just do it electronically. It was turned off for Taylor Swift's wedding, notes Michelle Dahl with the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project.
Clearly, this technology is not actually that necessary for security.
New York City Council member Shahana Hanif says MSG tracked a trans woman minute by minute around the arena because they didn't want her on the Jumbotron. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
That's your news to 7:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. Do you think the U.S. president will follow through on new tariffs against Canada starting Wednesday? 58% say yes. You can vote at CFAX1070.com. Also, the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Bestia, News Time, 7:07.
We've triggered a lot of folks.
Spidergate.
Spider talk continues.
Your spidey senses are tingling.
So many texts. So I've noticed that the season of those big wolf spiders getting into your house has started. So that's kind of what we're talking about.
Started the ball rolling with that.
A lot of listeners are mentioning that as well.
Okay.
This texter says, Ryan and Lisa, my 16-year-old granddaughter is visiting from Winnipeg. Her second night here, sleeping in the guest room, had a wolf spider on her blanket. She's fearful of spiders, and now she's sleeping on the living room couch for the next week. How do they even get into the house? That is a mystery I would love to know. Like, are there giant gaps somewhere in my house? Because these things are big.
They have special powers.
Big? How do they fit?
Yep.
We got a lot of
magic.
A lot of text. Another text. How about putting your face in a spider web every time you go out the door?
Oh, I hate that.
Doesn't seem to matter which door. Yeah, how do they do it so fast?
They're so busy overnight.
Like, I just went through that door. How did they get the web already there?
At night, I go out first thing in the morning, and it's there.
Yeah.
And it's clawing at my face. No, thank you.
Well, hey, are you having spider issues right now? 71010. Feel free to give us a text. We're going to get to that in a moment. Right now, carrying right on with sports, we're talking all about the Shamrocks lacrosse. Both of them, we got the senior Shamrocks and the junior A Shamrocks doing great in their various tournaments. Let's talk about that. Victoria Shamrocks continuing the WLA final tonight with Game 2. This one is at the Coquitlam Sports Center. The first game was on Saturday at the Q Center in Colwood, where the Shamrocks opened up the series with a 7-6 win over the Adnacks. So that's Game 2 with the Shamrocks leading 1-0. Now for the Victoria Junior A Shamrocks, they opened up their 2026 Mento Cup tournament yesterday in Calgary. This was a 11-8 loss to the Calgary Mountaineers. The next game is tonight against the Raiders, also of Calgary, and it's the round-robin stage of the tournament where all the teams are just playing each other before the knockout stage goes. For the World of Soccer, Whitecaps with a win over the Seattle Sounders last night, 2-0 for Vancouver in the MLS. The Caps move 2 points ahead of the Houston Dynamo for top spot in the Western Conference, and the Houston and the Whitecaps are going to be the next teams up on Wednesday. So we'll get to see those two teams, two top ones in the league, going at it on Wednesday. Blue Jays have a day off. Weirdly, they've hardly had any days off recently, but they have a day off today after dropping a 4-3 decision in 10 innings to the Yankees yesterday. The visiting Seattle Mariners with a 3-2 win over the Houston Astros. Mariners now 2.5 games out of an AL wildcard berth. That's your sports to 7:09. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's 7:10 on a Monday morning. Roads are looking clear. Buses are moving. You might have heard of the job action. Victoria Transit bus is still going. The drivers are just protesting by not wearing their usual uniforms. At least that's this stage of the job action. But yeah, your buses should be going as normal if you're worried about that. No sailing waits right now at BC Ferries, but the 7 o'clock did fill up. It was a one sail wait just a few moments ago, but the 7 o'clock is now departed from Swartz Bay bound for Tsawwassen. The 8 o'clock is next. It still has room for vehicles. The weather is sunny today, a little hazy maybe at times. A little bit of breeze off the Juan de Fuca Strait at times. Highs of 24, but a little humidity making it feel warmer as well. Clear skies overnight, lows to 13, and then tomorrow looks exactly the same. Right now, the temperature in Victoria is 12 degrees. On the markets, let's take a look at how things are shaping up to begin this Monday trading day. In Toronto, S&P TSX has started down by 30 points to 36,699. The Dow has dropped 164 to begin the day at 53,567. Canadian dollar is at 72.2 cents U.S. The dollar is actually up just a fraction of a cent from the close on Friday.
Let's get started. Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Spiders, they're coming. They're in your house. According to our listeners, at least. It's that season
Ryan's
where
making a bee movie.
it's the, yeah.
But it's about spiders.
I didn't mean to get this into spiders, but hey, you know what? I'm really curious about all of these different experiences people are having. I've talked about the fact that since I'm the dad in the house, I'm the one in charge of removing or killing spiders. I like the removal myself instead of killing the spiders. And this texture at 71010 says, so when you gently transport the spider outside and it has disappeared, do you do a spider dance as you jump, shake, and check your hair and clothing? Yeah, you get that feeling, right?
Yeah.
Is there something crawling on me?
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
This texter at 71010 has a joke for us. I love this. Thank you. I was going to kill a spider, but the wife said no, take him out. So I took him out, and on our date, I learned he's a web designer.
Well played.
That's from Ryan. Thank you for writing that.
That's good.
It's
I like
very
that.
good. I like that a lot.
It's actually solid.
Just letting that soak in. That's very good. This texter at 71010 says, let's see, where was that? Oh, mint and white vinegar keeps them away, according to the texter.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
No?
Do you just leave it around doorways and windows? Where is the correct place to apply your mixture of mint and white vinegar?
Do you swipe it on the where? How's this work?
I'm quite curious about that, though.
Somebody told me that acorns, the ones that drop from trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't work. I remember doing that at one point.
They just work around the acorns and they build more webs.
I remember we did that at one point. We grabbed a bunch and we stuck them around the windowsill. I don't think it showed any difference, but I think we did do that once.
Okay, you tried it, though.
This texter says, I apologize about the crunching, Lisa. We were talking about the cats crunching on spiders.
Well, I know it, and you took me there, but everybody's eating breakfast. Hey, it's not you. It's on Ryan. He read it.
It's my fault. Texter continues, I have always thought that walking into a spider web is one of the greatest karate teachers ever. Watching the moves as somebody, feels they hit their face, and it puts all the martial arts experts to shame. This texter back on the mint and vinegar. Okay, the mint and vinegar texter is back.
Recipe.
Make a tea with it. So I guess, steep the mint in the vinegar.
Okay.
Then spray it around your doors and windows.
Oh.
I see. Kind of put it in a spray bottle and spray the doors and windows.
Okay.
Gotcha. This is very good. Couple of other texters on slightly different topics because we were also talking about it's not just the spiders that are out and about. The lizards, those invasive lizards are really showing themselves right now.
Yeah.
And this texter wanted to talk about the lizards. The tiny lizards around Victoria, which are mostly invasive European wall lizards or native northern alligator lizards, can carry salmonella bacteria in their digestive tract, just like almost all reptiles. So don't let your pets catch them. That's an interesting point because my dog loves to chase them. She never catches them, but that's a good point. Thank you, texter.
Let them eat them then.
And then this texter says, speaking of jumping, because we're talking about how these wolf spiders will jump, this texter says, did you know that crabs can jump?
Really?
I was in Antigua one time, and my friend and I were seated on the patio of a restaurant near some big rocks. The sea waves were lapping at the rocks, and out of nowhere, a crab appeared and launched itself over a space of about 5 feet. What?
Sure didn't just jump on your plate and that was your meal?
We almost had a heart attack. None of us, 3 people, knew that crabs could jump. Scout's honor. It happened. That's amazing. I didn't know that either.
It's good to watch for.
Oh, and this texter says it's chestnuts, not acorns.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I used. My bad.
They suggest
I used chestnuts.
Put it along floors and the walls to
I
deter
put it in
spiders.
the corner of the window sills, and the spiders just put webs all around them. So maybe I'm using the wrong kind of chestnuts. They were local chestnuts, repurposed. They look nice in the corner with the webs around them. I call it found art.
I got quite a few textures here suggesting chestnuts, but Lisa's experiment did not succeed.
No, not for me. But I started charging them rent, so, cold comfort.
It all came out in the wash.
Right?
7:16. What else is going on that's non-spider related in the world of news? What's going on, Lisa?
Talking about numbers, Stats Canada says the annual rate of inflation accelerated to 3% in July as drivers were once again paying more to fill up. Inflation had cooled to 2.8% in the month of June as the U.S. and Iran worked towards a peace agreement, but fresh conflict, of course, pushed global gas prices higher again. Canadians found some relief from the grocery aisle as annual price hikes on food brought from the store cooled sharply to 3.1% in July from 3.9% previously, but we were paying more for airfares and travel tours and such because of the jet fuel price. StatsCan says pressure prices were easing on fresh vegetables and chicken products, but costs for fresh fruit were rising even faster in the month of June. Now, provincially, BC clocked in at 2.9%, up just slightly from 2.8%. For Victoria, city by city, 3.5%. Up from 2.9, so a big jump there. And Vancouver stayed steady at 3%. The July inflation figures mark the bank's last look at price data before its next interest rate decision on September 2nd. Montreal University is home for scientists who are developing efforts to better prepare us for a future pandemic. Projects underway in a biomedicine lab at Polytechnique Montreal are part of a federal initiative called Ramp Up. It collaborates with research institutions across Canada to address gaps in the biomanufacturing sector. Officials say efforts like this and putting more than $2.5 billion into biomanufacturing products will ensure we have swift access to medicines during future public health emergencies. And Facebook and Instagram's parent company is facing major legal fight this week in California. Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey accuse Meta of contributing to youth mental health crisis by knowingly and deliberately getting children addicted to its platforms. It also claims Meta routinely collects data on children under the age of 13 without parental consent, which is a violation of federal law. Dozens of U.S. states filing the lawsuit 3 years ago. The trial is set to begin tomorrow, with 25 states expected to have trials later on. That's your news to 719.
Okay. Texters now working the tips here. Drill holes into or break the chestnuts open for better results.
Oh. Well, that makes sense.
Maybe that's worth another experiment.
Because it's a sealed hull, so
you gotta let the chestnut out.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, another texter saying, Ryan and Lisa, poke holes in the soft part of the chestnuts. I use a turkey skewer and do 3 holes in each chestnut. That comes from Mary.
Yeah, I could see myself hurting myself trying to poke, so I'll use a drill, but I'll do that.
And another texter says, evidently it only works mildly on 3 species of spiders, so your experience,
the non-bitey kind.
Your experience may vary. And then another texter with a whole different set of suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
If chestnuts aren't doing it for you, I use peppermint oil drops in water, spray around the windowsills and doors. Bingo, no spiders. Okay, peppermint oil drops in water is another suggestion. And then this texter suggests lavender on cotton balls in your drawers keeps spiders away, as well as in a spray bottle around windows and doors and dark corners.
Wow. Okay. They're all nice smelling things.
That's true.
Don't mind having that around.
At the worst, you've got some lovely minty smelling doors and some chestnut covered windowsills.
And spiders.
At the worst. Okay. Well, keep them coming. If you got spider tips, we're getting into the season where they're getting into the house, at least in a lot of our listeners' experience. I want to talk about something totally different, though. A local 16-year-old has won a global award for his use of artificial intelligence technology in spotting galaxy collisions. Did I say a local 16-year-old?
Isn't that crazy?
Working on galaxy collisions?
Yeah.
It turns out these things are difficult to spot as the evidence quickly gets swept away in the process of, I guess, colliding. But what has Jared Quinn, one of 10 winners of the Leaders of Today Award and a student at St. Michael's University School, what has he done to figure this out? He's going to join us in just a moment. CFAX 1070, traffic and weather brought to you by the Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill, talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. What's going on the roads? Not a whole lot. Things are looking very clear. We're starting to see a bit of volume build up for the West Shore commute into Victoria. Trans-Canada Highway a little slow, but it's mostly just people going slow down the construction zone through the bus lane, the highway widening project there. So it's very, very smooth sailing for our major routes. If you see otherwise, you can text us at 71010. Over to the BC ferries. No sailing waits right now, but the 8 o'clock is 90% full, so it's a possible sailing wait. It's been a busy start to the day. We did see the 7 o'clock fill up as well. The weather forecast for today is sunny with a bit of wind off the water. Highs of 24, a little cooler. If you're by the windy, Juan de Fuca Strait, but some humidity in the air again, making it feel a little warmer at times. Same story as the last few days, and it kind of continues like this for the rest of the week. It might cloud over a bit on the weekend, but yeah, staying pretty much the same right through Monday to Friday. Right now, it's 12 degrees.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
We're trying to track down our winner of the 2026 Leaders of Today Award, the St. Michael's University student. We'll keep trying to reach him. But in the meantime, we still have a lot of spider tips. Are you noticing the spiders? Texter at 71010 says peppermint and lavender are toxic to cats and dogs, so they might kill the spiders, but they're also very dangerous to pets as well. From Maggie. So I guess be careful with what else is in your house before you start.
It's always something,
spraying
right?
the peppermint and lavender around. Okay.
Always sounded good until we bring the poinsettia out.
That's true. Oh, yeah, the poinsettia, that's the thing. They're also poisonous to pets. We don't keep the poinsettias around the house anymore since we learned that.
If you think they're going to chew on it, best not.
You never know. Sometimes pets do weird things where they just, why did you eat that? That wasn't even food. Why are you chewing on that?
Because it's a dog.
Yeah.
Don't chew on the lizard.
You know what my dog does? What? Sorry, this is a complete aside. This means nothing. But my dog, when she's mad at us, won't chew on things, but she will steal bags of bread off the counter and then bury them in everybody's bed.
Okay, there's therapy for that.
There's something weird going on there.
Seriously.
Like, we'll get into bed and there's like a bag of bread under a pillow. We're like, what? And it won't just be one. She'll have put multiple bags of bread, because we've got maybe there's like a gluten-free bag because my wife's gluten-free, and then you got the regular bread. Maybe you got some buns or something. She'll stick them in everybody's bed under a pillow.
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on with that. That has nothing to do with the spiders, but just speaking of dogs chewing on weird things.
I don't know how to unpack that.
I don't even know why I shared that.
Like dogs do things, they get into your laundry and things because it smells like you and stuff. With the bread.
I don't get the bread. My dog has.
And stealing things off the counter, you'd think it would go for, the low-hanging fruit, like meat.
You'd think it would eat it.
Well, you would.
Why are you not eating this bread?
It doesn't tear into the bag. It just
buries it in our beds.
You need a puppy therapist.
I think so. Back to the spiders. Sorry, that was a completely random thought.
No, that's a good one.
Another texter saying...
Strange things that pets do.
Saying that peppermint is the answer. I've used it for years. I even spray the outside of the windows. Oh, that makes sense. Not just spraying the inside, but do the outside.
True.
So you stop them before they even get in.
Okay.
That's interesting.
All right.
This texter at 71010 says, lilies also toxic to cats if you're worried about things that are toxic to pets.
Yeah, I guess if you have a pet, especially if you get a new pet, you've got to take stock of the plants you have in the house and what you bring in because there's food too, like chocolate and onions and ice cream is not great for pets, even though the pet would argue it wants a pupper cone. They're lactose intolerant. And the thing is, you don't want them doing the Technicolor yawn, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
30 minutes later. So if you got to feed them specific things because they have a short digestive tract. It doesn't always come out in the wash.
Hey, the phone is ringing. I think this might be my guest. Hello, who's this?
Hey, Ryan, it's Allie.
Allie, do you have Jared with you?
I actually was just calling to let you know Jared's in Spain and he can't get his phone to work. He wants to set up another call if he can. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Are you mom?
No, I work at SMU.
Oh, you're right. Yes, gotcha.
Okay.
You're Simon Fraser. St. Michael's University.
Right.
But let's just say we'll try to get Jared on the line later. Sorry that his phone's not working, but it's just really cool. He's 16 years old. He's won a global award for his use of artificial intelligence technology to spot galaxy collisions. How crazy is that?
Yeah, he's a pretty amazing kid.
Wow.
He's a boarding student with us, and he's also not only incredibly intelligent. He won an award at the National Science Fair, the Regional Science Fair. He's also a really talented singer. He was like one of the leads in the musical Les Miserables this year, which was no small feat, as you can imagine. Sings in the choir. He's just an incredible kid, and super nice, and on the service council and everything. So a really, really cool kid.
Well, that's amazing. Congratulations again to Jared Quinn, who won all these awards. And I would love to talk to him about his work with the Galaxy Collision. So, yeah, let's set it up. Let's talk to him again later. But thank you for calling us and letting us know. All right, that's...
What's he doing in Spain? Is that where the...
Or maybe that's where he lives. I don't know.
Because
if he's
he is a boarding student. Yeah. Wow, this kid is a golden boy.
Amazing. Well,
16 years old?
Yeah.
And he slept in. Good for him.
Cool local story. Phone doesn't work. It's all good. Okay, so just to recap, spiders.
Oh, is that where we're at again? Okay.
I just want to finish off here, to finish the thought before we leave the topic completely. We're going to get to the 7:30 news, just because we've had such an amazing collection of ideas here.
True.
If you are worried about the spiders getting into your house, we've got chestnuts. If you break them open or drill holes into them or poke holes into them,
yes,
that could be worked.
That
lets
could
work.
the scent out.
Peppermint oil dropped in water and then kind of sprayed around windows and doors, or another texture, vinegar and mint. Same thing, kind of make a little tea out of the vinegar and mint, spray it on the windows and doors. Those are a few of our listener suggestions. Lavender was another one.
Does it work on deer?
Yeah, there you go. But I just wanted to recap because I think, these are all things I might try. I don't mind the spiders myself. I'd be happy to have them, doing their thing. But I've got somebody in my house who doesn't like them.
You get your son to help you with the project so he feels more relief from,
That's true.
Like, oh, geez, this worked. Okay.
He probably would completely just bomb the whole house in mint and lavender if I tell him this. I'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted, everybody. I'll let you know if it works. But there we go. Spiders. It's a thing right now. 7:30 news is next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. 40 years of Fringe magic. Experience Victoria Fringe Festival, August 26th through September 6th. Feel the roar at Pacific FC. Get your soccer tickets today at cplsoccer.com. West Shore Swap Shop and Market is at Rally at Royal Bay every Sunday. Support Goldstream Food Bank with a $2 admission or a food donation. Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:32 on Monday, August 17th. It's going to be a mostly sunny day, highs of 24, a little bit of humidity as well. We'll get you a full forecast in a moment. Right now, it's time for the news. Here's Lisa Best.
Good morning. BC Wildfire Update. 127 wildfires burning currently this hour. 44 out of control. We've had a dozen new starts in the last day. And we have 15 fires burning on Vancouver Island coming off the weekend, including 3 up island, which are considered out of control. All 3 are in wilderness areas. Firesmoke.ca show wildfire smoke is intensifying over Greater Victoria between 10 this morning and around 9 tonight. Lighter smoke expected for a couple of hours early Tuesday morning if you're looking to get outside. And if it's bothering you, it's a good time to go. Support continues to roll out for BC residents affected by fires in other parts of the province. The government reminding evacuees that accommodation is available for those that fled the Bald Range fire, and those who continue to require emergency support services can call the evacuee helpline. Just before the weekend, the provincial government announced 1,500 book-blocked hotels that were available for evacuees. A $200 e-transfer is also available for accommodation options. The province says it understands that hotel rooms may not meet everyone's needs, especially those who may have pets or other animals with them. Anyone living in BC that's been forced to evacuate is eligible for emergency support services, and that includes temporary foreign workers. The area that was hit is a big agricultural area, especially around Summerland. City Council locally campaigning for gaining momentum. CFAX 1070's Koch Cudden explains.
Victoria residents will see a new political party name on the ballot for the upcoming 2026 Victoria City Council and School Board trustee elections. The new municipal political party, Victoria for All, is entering 3 candidates. For City Council, Susan Kim will go for re-election, while first-time council candidate CRD Director Peter Rose Gibbs is also running, and Maya Beach is seeking a seat as a school board trustee. The candidates are campaigning on hot topics including renter protections, affordable housing, expanding mental health care services and climate action. Housing has long been one of the most contentious issues in the city as young workers struggle to find affordable accommodation, while new bills have come up against planning issues including height restrictions. Victoria for All candidates join more than 100 others across 13 municipalities vying for seats on boards and councils over the next 2 months. Meanwhile, a newly formed platform called Livable CRD, a coalition of groups, is looking to filter the noise for voters ahead of voting. The organisation is conducting a survey which will gather candidates' thoughts on big issues while tracking candidates and their platforms. This year's municipal elections will take place on October 17th, with advance voting in the weeks leading up to Election Day. Koch Cadden, CFAX 1070 News.
Canada's top trade negotiators stuck around Washington for the weekend as the new U.S. tariff threat looms on Wednesday. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Chief Negotiator Jenna Charette met virtually with the U.S. Trade Representative for an hour on Sunday. An evening statement from an aide from LeBlanc said the meeting was constructive, and the talks continue.
Talks have intensified in recent weeks since U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order to impose 50% tariffs this Wednesday that would apply to a variety of goods from cement to hockey sticks. The Americans said the new levies were a response to provincial bans on U.S. liquor, the supply-managed dairy system, and quotas on some U.S. vehicles. The meeting took place virtually because Sunday was Greer's birthday.
And that is your news to 7:36.
The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe.
Everyone wants to know about real estate. Is the market going up or down? Time to buy or sell? How can government programs and policies affect you? Hear from local experts on topics like appraisal, inspection, investment, and others on how to maximize your real estate sale.
Providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe. Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070.
Your CFAX 1070 news poll question today. We're asking if you think the U.S. president will follow through on his new tariff threat against Canada come Wednesday. 58% saying yes, You can vote at cfax1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 7:37.
Thanks, Lisa. Taking a look at the weather quickly. 12 degrees right now. We're heading towards a high of 24. Mostly sunny. A little bit of haze out there still in the air. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. In sports, lots of Shamrocks lacrosse to talk about with two different teams doing interesting things. The Victoria Shamrocks main senior team continue their WLA final tonight. Game 2 is over on the mainland at the Coquitlam Sports Centre. The Shamrocks opened the series with a dramatic 7-6 win over the Coquitlam Adnacks back on Saturday night with a 1-0 lead now going into tonight's game. The Victoria Junior A Shamrocks, meanwhile, opened up their 2026 Minto Cup tournament yesterday. This is being hosted by Calgary. It was an 11-8 loss for the Shamrocks in that opening game to the Calgary Mountaineers. Next game is tonight against the Raiders of Calgary, and it's round-robin stage, so the Junior A Shamrocks will play all the other teams, so there's 4 of them in total, first before moving on to the knockout stage. Toronto Blue Jays get a day off now, 1 game back of an American League wildcard berth. They had a loss yesterday to the New York Yankees, 4-3. It took 10 innings to do that, and the Jays will open up a 3-game series on tomorrow against the Tampa Bay Rays. And the visiting Seattle Mariners nabbed a 3-2 win over the Houston Astros. Mariners now 2.5 games out of an AL wildcard berth. And Whitecap Soccer, 2-0 win over the Seattle Sounders yesterday. The Caps moved 2 points ahead of the Houston Dynamo for top spot in the Western Conference. And by the way, the Whitecaps and Houston will play each other this Wednesday. That's your CFAX Sports to 7:39. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather at 7:40. If you see a problem out there, text us to 71010. But right now, things are pretty much smooth sailing. No major issues to report on local roads. If you see something, do let me know at 71010. For BC Ferries, no sailing waits right now. The 8 o'clock sailing, though, is a possible sailing wait at 92% full, but still some vehicle deck space left as we get towards the top of the hour. For the weather forecast, looking at mostly sunny skies right through this week. The odd bit of cloud here and there, maybe a bit of haze here and there, but mostly just a sunny week ahead of us with temperatures around about the mid-20s. We will see clouds coming in for the weekend. At the moment, no precipitation mentioned, but we'll watch and see how that shapes up. For the temperatures right through the week, I was mentioning today is the mid-20s, a little humidity in the air. That's kind of the story right through the week as well, with overnight lows going down anywhere between 12 and 14 degrees. Right now it is about 12 degrees as the official temperature at the airport. But if we look around the region, it's starting to warm up in some places like downtown Victoria, where it's 14 right now. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto dropping a few points to start the day. Now, after dropping a few points to start the day, it's now turned it around. It's up 46 to 36,776. The Dow in New York is down still 141 to 53,591. And the Canadian dollar at 72.2 cents U.S., which is up a little bit from the close on Friday.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, we're still talking spiders as our listeners are giving us wonderful advice on how to deal with them. If you're not a big fan of them in the house, we've got everything from the chestnuts with a hole drilled into them, all the way to, peppermint oil in water sprayed on your doors and windows. This texter at 71010 says, chestnuts didn't work for me either, but I have heard you have to crack them. Apparently, it's the smell from inside the chestnuts that deters the spiders. Good luck. Thumbs up, says the texter. And this texter is suggesting camphor oil and peppermint oil mixed and then sprayed will repel rats and mice, let alone spiders.
Really?
That's a big one. Okay. Lots of things there. And then this texter at 71010 has a whole story.
Okay.
Good morning, Ryan and Lisa. I am okay with the spiders in my house. My kids, many years ago, fed one they named Henry for months. It would emerge from the crack in the baseboard to welcome the fruit fly or the mosquito that they'd bring him, until one day it didn't and we assumed he died. It's a favorite childhood memory they share. And now, but
Henry.
Henry.
It's better when you name them.
It is. A little less scary if they're named. Now, you had mentioned, what about the deer? Is there something you can spray for the deer?
Yeah.
This same texter goes on to answer your very question, Lisa.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
Of course.
As for the deer, I hang the dog's fur or human hair after a haircut stuffed into an old slinky that hangs like a wreath on the tree. It helps to keep the deer at bay, and the birds and squirrels take it to line their nests. You can also sprinkle some of it in and around the garden. So they don't like
something with the scent of you on
Is it the smell? Yeah, I guess it must be the smell of dog or human they don't like. Interesting.
It is.
That's all from Kathleen in Saanich. Thank you so much for the spider story and the deer tip. This is great. We've got so many great suggestions about how to deal with not just spiders, but now deer.
Yeah, we want them around, but we just don't want them that close.
Exactly. Another texter at 71010, kind of what I was saying about how I like I like them around myself if it wasn't for me trying to get rid of them from somebody else in my house. Texter says, spiders reduce mosquitoes, gnats, and many other pesky invaders. I always move them outside unharmed and apologize if I damage their works of art with my clumsy, unaware humanness. Yeah,
we're a lot larger.
Yeah. I do opt for moving it outside as well. We had some great tips earlier about if you are the person who likes to move them outside, a coaster works as that thing to go under the cup. That's another good tip from today.
Ryan's life hack.
I know. Instead of
use the coaster.
I grab a magazine or some paper, but it's flimsy, right? You don't have that perfect.
You don't want to be touching
seal.
the beast.
You don't want the spider finding a crack in your cup and magazine contraption. Coaster.
Danger.
Coaster. 7:45. It's time for the news. Well, what's going on in the world? Here's Lisa.
Let's talk fires. It's expected to be a long road to recovery for many of thousands of residents forced out of the Okanagan area by the wildfires this month. Mike Stoller is a local winemaker. He briefly returned to his Summerlands vineyard on Saturday after being ordered out by the flames of the Bald Range wildfire. He says most of his property is intact, except for a corner where some stored materials were destroyed. Summer is usually peak season for wine tourism throughout Summerland, but the fires, of course, forcing the wineries around the area to close temporarily, and a lot of tourists making other plans because they don't want to deal with the fire and the smoke that ensues. BC Wildfire Update has 127 wildfires burning, 44 out of control as of this morning. There's been 9 new starts in the last 24 hours. Here on Vancouver Island, we've had seen a definite jump in the amount of fire activity. 15 fires now burning, including 3 considered out of control. They are all up island in wilderness areas, not affecting any structures or communities. Actress Hayden Panettiere has died at the age of 36. Police in Greenville, South Carolina, says she was found unresponsive at an apartment complex yesterday. They said there was no signs of foul play. An autopsy will be performed. Panettiere had a prolific career dating back to 1996. Her credits include the voice of Dot in A Bug's Life and Remember the Titans, as well as Scream 6. She starred in TV series including Heroes and Nashville. And soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo is off the singles list in a fashion. He'd been seeing model Georgina Rodriguez for a long time. They have children together, but now they've officially tied the knot. The couple got married in their own living room at their home in Portugal on August 11th, with only their children in attendance. Ronaldo and Rodriguez wore Gucci, designed by the house artistic director to commemorate the 10-year anniversary of when they met at a Gucci store in Madrid. That is your news to 7:47.
Coming up next, we're going to meet a remarkable young man who's doing something really cool in the community. He's 11 years old, and his annual lemonade stand in support of the Victoria Hospitals Foundation is going to be getting underway. We're going to tell you all about it in just a few moments. That is coming up next, but we're also doing our traffic and weather update, and I've got a texter wondering if we can update the BC Transit strike notice. Well, texter, I can tell you that the Victoria bus service is on per usual. The job action is starting with them just not wearing their uniforms. So that's your update. The job action's on, but it's just uniforms. The buses are going.
Correct.
We will carry on. Still more tips about spiders and deer and all sorts of things coming in at 7:10. So we can get back to that in just a few moments' time. I also should say, because I haven't said this yet, sorry, I've been so distracted by spider talk that I forgot to mention we are giving away Guns N' Roses tickets today. How can I forget that?
Yeah, the spiders? Wow.
It just knocked me right off my game. I was so into spiders.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses, of course. This was a big feature of our CFAX Summer of Rock. You remember that a few months ago? We were giving away these tickets. Well, we found some more. So we've got a pair of Guns N' Roses tickets to give away every day on the show. Now, unlike the Summer of Rock, we don't have the accommodation and the helicopter ride this time. But that's why we got 5 of them we can give away every day. There's no qualifying. You just win them. But you got to do something for us, Lisa. You need to sing like Axl Rose.
Oh, don't make me do it. Have someone else do it.
And there's no wrong answer. Just sing a little bit of a Guns N' Roses song.
It's got to be that high-pitched voice that he uses? Okay.
Do your best Axl Rose.
All right.
Doesn't even have to be long. And you'll get your tickets. We're going to do it right after the 8 o'clock news, so stand by for that. I just wanted to give you a heads up that that's coming, because I totally forgot to mention it earlier. That's coming up in just a few moments.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50-50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660.
CFAX at 70 traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. If you're heading out on a summer road trip, shop at Thrifty Foods. Swipe your Scene Plus card. Save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell stores. Okay, let's go over to the traffic and weather, where we have a fairly calm day on the roads. No major crashes or accidents at BC Ferries. It's been a busy one. It's 95% full at 8, although that sailing is about to go. And we're talking vehicle deck space. Of course, you can still walk on. The transit strike is not affecting service today. Buses are going per usual. It's just uniforms that the bus drivers will not be wearing. They've got one texter told us like a red and white uniform shirt that they're going to be wearing. In the weather forecast, it is a sunny, sometimes hazy day. Highs of 24 degrees, a little humidity in the air as well. And tonight, clear skies, lows down to 13. Right now in Victoria, it is between 12 and 14 degrees, depending on where you are.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
It's a lemonade stand for a very good reason. A local 11-year-old, again, hosting his annual lemonade stand in support of the Victoria Hospitals Foundation, a tradition that began after his father died suddenly from a brain aneurysm back in 2022. This year, Anders Yee will host his stand on Shelburne Street, but you'll find it just kind of around the corner on Kenmore, we hear, from 1 in the afternoon today until 4 p.m. And he's joining us now along with his mom, Susanna. Hello to both of you.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, guys. I'm so excited to talk to you. This is such a neat thing you do with a bit of a sad start, but it has led to such an amazing thing. I don't know who wants to answer this question. How much money have you raised over the years because of this?
I believe it's around $7,500 to date.
From a lemonade stand. That's amazing.
Well, Anders has done craft fairs like Kitivate and the Saanich Christmas Youth Fair. So he's done other craft fairs, but has donated a percentage to it as well. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so all that fundraising has really paid off for the Victoria Hospitals Foundation. What is it going to look like today? Let's start there. Give people the sense of where they can go. If they want to go get lemonade for a cause, where can they go today?
They can go to my lemonade stand.
And Anders, where will we find that lemonade stand? Talk us through how to get there.
So it will be on 4303 Shelburne Street, off the driveway of Kenmore, and there will be like a big tent, and we will also have like a banner saying like Anders Lemonade and more.
Amazing. So look for that starting at 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
Can you tell me, or Mom, whoever wants to answer this, talk about where this came from? I know it had a bit of a sad start, but talk about the beginning of this tradition.
So it was actually Anders and his friend was pestering me for a little bit to sell lemonade. So spring break of March 2023, I said, sure, you guys can, set up a little stand, which they did, and they raised about, I can't remember now, around $30. And we wanted to donate it in memory of his father, and we were trying to look for something, and then we ended up at the Victoria Hospitals Foundation. So what had happened, today is actually 4 years today. My husband, Anders' dad, Kevin, passed away suddenly of a brain aneurysm. So it's kind of a bittersweet day today because it actually falls on the anniversary of his passing. So we got connected through that small little lemonade stand. Anders wanted to do something to remember his dad during the week of his passing. So with the Victoria Hospitals Foundation, they had been so supportive of us and getting the news out there. And I believe the first annual stand, Anders actually raised about $3,000 at that first stand.
Wow.
And it's just grown over the years.
So you sort of answered the next question I have, but it's taken on a life of its own here.
Yes.
So how many people did you have pop by last year, for example?
I don't know. We just lost track. But that first year, I did not know, I guess, CTV Vancouver Island, Adam Slotski actually did a feature on him that went national. So it was carried by all the syndicate across Canada, and it actually made CTV national news as well. And my understanding was there was somebody out east that heard about the story and actually submitted or donated anonymously $1,000 in his for his lemonade stand.
Wow. I mean, it's the feeling of the community coming around you at a time of grief like that. It must be overwhelming in some ways, but it's very heartwarming too for you.
Yes, it is, because there was an article that was ran this weekend, and I guess the individual is away and reached out, and said she couldn't be here and actually forwarded on a $100 donation already. So we've actually started. We have actually started collecting donations, and as well, Anders has been last week going to Majestic Park and providing lemonade samples to encourage people to show up today.
Oh, that's great. That is entrepreneurial. And Anders, can I ask, if you don't mind me asking, how do you make your lemonade?
So it's all homemade from scratch. So what we do is we first peel the lemons and cut them, and we have a juicer that we can use to juice those them. And then my mom makes a like syrup almost, and then she mixes the lemon juice with the syrup, so like you get like that balanced sweet lemonade.
Homemade lemonade, and it's going to be coming at you in the Gordon Head neighborhood today from 1 till 4. And again, it's 4303 Shelburne Street, but the driveway's just off Kenmore, so that's where you'll find it. Although I guess sounds like you can't miss it. There's going to be a big old tent there, banners. It'll be a big to-do in Gordon Head.
You sure you got enough?
Yeah.
We also have homemade ice cream.
Oh, even better.
I forgot about that.
Oh, that's good. If you're not into the lemonade, you got the ice cream. Somebody's going to find something they like there. Anders and Susanna, good luck with this. What a wonderful thing you do, all in support of the Victoria Hospitals Foundation. Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I wish them luck. That's going to be a lot of fun if you're in the Gordon Head neighborhood. Do check it out. That's cool. It's neat that it's becoming a bit of a tradition, too. Maybe you've seen this before, as they're a few years into this. We'll take a break. We got the 8 o'clock news coming up, and then we'll give away those Guns N' Roses tickets.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning. It's 8:01 on Monday, August the 17th. It's going to be a sunny day today. Highs eventually hitting 24. Right now it's at the Victoria International Airport, 12 degrees. Full forecast to come right now. The news begins. Let's say good morning to Lisa Best.
Good morning. Today, transit workers who are members of Unifor Local 333 here in BC will begin a uniform ban to start job action across Victoria. They'll be wearing their union shirts instead. The Victoria Transit Riders Union will hold a solidarity rally outside the BC Transit office at 4 today. That's at 520 Gorge Street East. In solidarity, the VTRU is calling for the BC Transit to offer bus drivers, mechanics, electricians, and other transit workers represented by the union a fair deal. VTRU says it's deeply disappointed that BC Transit has failed to make a reasonable offer to workers after more than 16 months of negotiations. Speaking of negotiations, Canadian trade officials say they took part in another constructive meeting with their American counterparts yesterday as the time crunch is on down to Wednesday's deadline for Donald Trump's 50% tariffs on a wide range of other Canadian products. Meantime, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre once again criticizing Mark Carney's tactics or lack of in the ongoing negotiations. CTV's Michael Serapio has to follow us as the latest developments here and also in Washington.
There's no reason why the Prime Minister can't get a great deal on Wednesday. That's what he promised in the election.
But according to sources, the two sides are still far apart. If no deal is reached, the U.S. is promising to impose punitive tariffs of 50% on billions of dollars of Canadian exports.
I think that many Canadians, while they would like to continue to maintain the elbows up, would not appreciate what that actually means.
The U.S. trade rep warns Canada against imposing any kind of counter tariff if new U.S. tariffs come through.
While officials say trade discussions are continuing, the plan for the next 48 hours still remains murky at best. Hollywood is mourning the loss of actress Hayden Panettiere.
A rep for the 36-year-old confirmed her death Sunday, while an exact cause has not yet been announced. She was best known for her roles on the NBC sci-fi series Heroes, the musical drama Nashville, and the Scream horror franchise. She also appeared in Remember the Titans, Raising Helen, and Ally McBeal. In a statement, her father asked for privacy as the family takes time to process what he described as an unimaginable loss. The actress, who had been extremely open about her struggles with drugs and alcohol in the past, leaves behind an 11-year-old daughter. I'm Monica Nelson.
Madison Square Garden defending facial recognition scans that track people inside the arena.
In a statement, MSG says people have been recognizing each other's faces since the beginning of time. We just do it electronically. It was turned off for Taylor Swift's wedding, notes Michelle Dahl with the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project.
Clearly, this technology is not actually that necessary for security.
New York City Council member Shahana Hanif says MSG tracked a trans woman minute by minute around the arena because they didn't want her on the Jumbotron. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
And some new research shows having a positive relationship with a dog can really help teens deal better with social stress.
It's long been known that pet ownership can be beneficial for children, and researchers at Tufts University in Boston say it can be an especially positive experience for adolescents struggling with social anxiety. Investigators analyzed survey data from more than 500 American kids ages 13 to 17 with high levels of social anxiety and found that companionship with a dog and caring for a dog's needs are associated with more adaptive coping skills. It's an encouraging finding and something doctors say warrants further study. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's your CFAX News to 8:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. We're asking, do you think the U.S. president will follow through on new tariffs against Canada come Wednesday? Over 60% say yes. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 8:06.
Thank you, Lisa. It's going to be a sunny day. Highs at 24, right now 12 degrees. Stand by. We're going to give away Guns N' Roses tickets. Yeah, they're coming to Vancouver. We did give away tickets earlier in the lead up to this, but we found some more. So we're prepared to give away every day today if you sing like Axl Rose for us. And don't worry. You don't have to do...
Yeah? Just don't strain your vocal cords for this.
We're not going to be like grading it as long as you try.
Well, make it happen.
It's coming up in just a moment. In CFAX 1070 Sports, let's take a look here. We've got the Shamrocks, both, the senior Shamrocks and the junior A Shamrocks doing cool things. So for the Victoria Senior Shamrocks, the WLA Final Series continues tonight. Game 2 was in Coquitlam. Shamrocks opened the series with a dramatic 7-6 win over the Adnacks on Saturday night, so they got the 1-0 lead heading into this Game 2 tonight. And then the junior A Shamrocks opened up the 2026 Minto Cup tournament yesterday afternoon with a 11-8 loss to the Calgary Mountaineers. Next game is tonight against the Raiders of Calgary. All these games are being hosted by Calgary, by the way, the city, as the round-robin stage of the tournament continues. For the Vancouver Whitecaps, you had Rayon Illumi and Thomas Mueller all scoring in the second half to keep the Vancouver Whitecaps into the winning ways. They defeated the Seattle Sounders 2-0, and the Caps moved 2 points ahead of the Houston Dynamo for top spot in the Western Conference, and they're going to host that Texas squad on Wednesday. In the world of baseball, visiting Seattle Mariners, nabbing a 3-2 win over the Houston Astros. The Mariners are 2.5 games out of the AL wildcard berth still. Toronto Blue Jays have a day off today after a 4-3 10-inning loss to the Yankees. That is your CFAX 1070 Sports. It's 8:08. All right, we're going to open up the phone lines in a second, 250-386-1161. We're going to do it just like last week with the Spamalot tickets. I was going to take a random caller, and we're going to see if you're willing to sing a Guns N' Roses song. It's Guns N' Roses karaoke for your tickets today. Stand by. Did I give you the phone number? If I didn't, it's 250-386-1161. 250-386-1161. How rude if I ask you to call me and then I don't tell you the phone number. There you go. 250-386-1161. Okay, on the traffic and weather front, we are looking at a very clear day for the commute. A little slow through the construction zone on the Trans-Canada Highway where they're widening the bus lanes there, but otherwise we're looking very good. BC Ferries, the 9 o'clock is now next. It is 85% full, but no sailing waits as of now from Swartz Bay to Swanson. And in the weather forecast, the whole week looks kind of the same. It's going to be mainly sunny, the odd bit of cloud or haze possible, the odd bit of wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait likely. Temperatures in the mid-20s as a high, lows going down anywhere between 12 and 14 degrees. And that's right through the week. We're just kind of staying stable. It does cloud over at the end of the week, though, and by Saturday, Sunday, we could be into some overcast skies. No mention of rain as of yet, but we'll keep our ears out for what the forecasters revise as we get closer to this weekend. Right now, it is officially at the Victoria International Airport, 13 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX up 61 to 36,792. The Dow is down 213 to 53,519. The NASDAQ is down just one single point to 26,727. Canadian dollar virtually unchanged. It's down the tiniest little bit. It's at 71.2 cents U.S.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
I think it's so cool. We found more Guns N' Roses tickets. So here's the full story, by the way. They're coming, of course, at the end of the month to Vancouver. And if you want to go, I got tickets to give away right now if you're willing to give me a call and sing a little Guns N' Roses. I mean, it could be anything. Doesn't have to be long. You could try to sound like Axl Rose. Nobody can sound like Axl Rose, really, but you can try your best. See, at least you can do it.
Fake it to make it.
I never thought of that.
Right?
Yeah. Take me down to Paradise City.
Take a cat. Never mind.
Yeah. By the way, it's Saturday, August 29th, if you are curious. That's
The
the date.
weekend. Have that weekend free.
Have the weekend free before you call in. Okay, where are we going to go? I got all these beautiful phone lines all lit up at 250-386-1161. I will choose that line. Who is this on the line?
It's Jody.
Hello.
Did you say Jody?
Yes.
Jody.
Hi, Jody.
I'm so glad you called me. I'm hoping you have your singing voice on.
I will try. Sure.
Come on, Jody.
Now,
Unleash
there's no
the
wrong
demon.
answer. As long as you do it, there's no wrong answer.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, go for it.
Floor is yours.
Okay. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. Honey, we know the names. We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you get the money, honey, we got your disease. It's jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Na, 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 na.
I'm glad you held on until that.
Into your knees, please.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, congratulations, Jody. You've got some tickets to go see Guns N' Roses coming to BC Place Stadium in Vancouver Saturday, August 29th. What do you think?
Didn't have to do that part.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, at least I didn't make you play the guitar.
Who are you taking with you?
I will take a very, very good friend of mine.
Excellent.
Jody, congratulations. I'm so happy to send you. Are you a big fan, by the way?
I am, yes.
Well, you had all the words down, so you must be.
Yeah. I know a few songs of theirs.
Yeah, excellent. Well, you can sing along from BC Place Stadium coming up at the end of the month. Hang on the line. Yeah, you got to do that part. Yeah, that part's important.
Very good.
Well, we're going to do it again all this week. We got pairs of tickets to give away all this week.
Wonderful.
I can't believe how many we got. So if you want another chance to win, just listen tomorrow, and we'll do it again. Okay. Real quick, Lisa, we're doing the news, but I do want to give a quick little traffic shout out here because the texter's letting me know that tow trucks are removing a broken down vehicle on the Pat Bay Highway southbound, just south of Island View. It's not causing much of a backup, but the right lane is closed there at the moment. And that's from Jeremy. Thank you much for that tip, Jeremy. Now to the rest of the headlines. Take it away, Lisa.
Thank you. Today, transit workers, since we're talking about the road, members of the local Unifor, Local 333, they'll begin a uniform ban to start job action in the Victoria area. You won't see them in their normal transit uniform. The Victoria Transit Union Riders Union is holding a solidarity rally today at 4 outside the BC Transit office. That's at 520 Gorge Road East. VTRU says it's deeply disappointed that BC Transit has failed to make a reasonable offer to these workers after more than 16 months of negotiations. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre slamming Mark Carney for not yet reaching the trade deal with the U.S. He also urged the feds to extend their soon-to-expire gas tax cut until next July. Poilievre says Canadians could then get another 10 months of relief at the pumps at the very least. The cuts was first put into effect to bring the price down by 10 cents to combat the efforts of the U.S. war in Iran. Tropical storm Lala has lost some steam as it moves westward away from the main Hawaiian Islands. After leaving a trail of destruction, though, at least one person has died after the storm blew through, bringing torrential rain, widespread flooding, and mudslides to the Big Island of Hawaii. A skin expert is weighing in on how to better protect yourself properly from the sun. We're halfway through summer, but here we are. Dr. Megan Skiba from the Arizona University and Skin Cancer Institute recommends sunscreens at a broad spectrum and at least a 30 rating. She says you should still apply even if it's cloudy and when you're driving in a vehicle and when you're in front of a window because it's possible to get burnt in those situations. She says one of the biggest myths we have on social media right now is that blending up fruits and vegetables will result in Eternal sunscreen. I don't know where that came from, but something apparently that's trending on social media right now. And no, that doesn't work. And Canadian singer-songwriter Jan Arden has officially been hitched. The Canadian-based artist shared a photo on social media of her and Icelandic author and activist Thordis Elva dressed in a white wedding attire. The post reads, "Wife and wife," and includes Saturday's date. Comments were left by several Canadian personalities with their own photos and posts about being there. The 64-year-old recently started dating her bride and previously featured on Arden's podcast discussing her path of healing following sexual assault. The couple plans to honeymoon in Scotland this coming fall. And that is your news to 8:17.
Congratulations again to Jody for winning our first pair of Guns N' Roses tickets. Texter here at 71010 says, why do we got to make fools out of ourselves in these contests now in order to win tickets?
No, it's fun.
I think it's a lot of fun.
We'll sing with you.
But you know what? The next contest we have,
Yeah.
whatever it is, we won't make you sing. I promise.
We'll make you do something else.
Maybe it'll be a skill-tested question.
We just want to have fun.
It's just fun.
It's just silly fun.
I enjoy. I enjoyed, and you know what? You could do whatever you want. You can interpret this contest as you will, as long as you provide us some sort of.
You can do spoken word if you so choose.
Spoken word, Axl Rose.
Right, but you got to perform. We do. We want you to as well.
Oh man, it's good fun. But thank you for the text, though. We'll make the next one a non-singing event. How's that? I think
sure?
that's. I guess I shouldn't promise anything, but okay. Next up, BC politics got real spicy on Friday. After we got done our show, Lisa, we had Peter Millibar leave the BC Conservative Party to sit as an independent. We saw the cancer news about Brenda Bailey and the cabinet shuffle that followed with some big moves. We're going to talk to Stuart Prest, UBC political science lecturer, talking about what all this means for BC politics next. CFAX at 70, traffic and weather. Yeah, we've got a texter here who is letting us know that there are some tow trucks removing a broken down vehicle on the Pat Bay Highway. This is southbound, just south of Island View. Not causing a huge backup, but it is there. It's in the way, so just be careful of that as you head down the Pat Bay Highway southbound. Otherwise, the roads are looking fairly clear. And thank you so much to that texter and anybody who texts us at 71010 with traffic tips. We love it. BC Ferry's busy day so far. The 9 o'clock from Swartz Bay to Swassen, about 90% full. No sailing waits yet, but it's been kind of close all day. The weather forecast for today is a high of 24 eventually. A little humidity in the air. Right now, 13 degrees.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Major BC politics shakeup on Friday with, on one hand, in the BC Conservative corner, Peter Millibar announcing he is going to leave the BC Conservative Party and he is going to be sitting as an independent, still an MLA, just no longer with the Conservatives. A lot to unpack there. The same day, there's a cabinet shuffle amongst Premier Eby's government, all because former Finance Minister Brenda Bailey is off to seek cancer treatment, and you had to replace her as Finance Minister, and that, of course, does the dominoes, and there's a whole bunch of things to unpack there as well. So Stuart Prest, UBC political science lecturer, we'd love to talk politics and unpack things with him, so I'm glad he could join us on the line. Stuart, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Yeah, it's so funny how when it rains, it pours. So much different political news coming out of BC politics on Friday. Should we start with Peter Millibar?
Sure.
Let's start there. So he leaves the BC Conservative Caucus. Some folks thinking this is not a surprise. This was a move people were wondering if it would happen. Could you maybe get into the backstory here a little bit? Because I know that there was a very contentious leadership race in the BC Conservatives. Peter Millibar, one of the candidates, the eventual winner, Carrie Lynn Findlay. They butted heads quite a bit, sometimes in a very personal way, during the leadership campaign. Was there any surprise for you that it ended in Peter Millibar eventually leaving the party, which is what we saw on Friday?
Well, I think it's the sort of news story where it's news really shocking when it happens, and yet not terribly surprising, just as you're hinting at there, because these two individuals campaigning for the leadership of the BC Conservatives represented different views of what it means to be a conservative, and in many ways the issues that divided them are more significant than whatever united them under the name conservative. And you're right, some of the attacks were quite personal against Peter Millibar during that leadership campaign, suggesting, for instance, that given the role his wife plays in Indigenous politics and her status, that would affect Peter Millibar's own judgment and ability to comment on such issues, just making it very personal. And Mr. Millibar took umbrage to those attacks, and that was one of the major stories during that leadership race. And so the two individuals perhaps had reasons not to work together. But of course, in politics, we see people finding ways to move past bad beef all the time. But here, that underlying ideological difference, I think, has really played a crucial role. And we have seen, since winning the leadership, Carrie Lynn Findlay taking the party very much in that populist, in some ways social conservative direction that is quite different than anything we have seen in BC politics for some time, in some ways hearkening back to an early era where we talk about faith in politics openly, and really drawing dividing lines between non-Indigenous British Columbians and Indigenous British Columbians, and really hammering at that in ways that are really unprecedented.
We see Peter Millibar leave as an independent. We saw Emily Boltby join the NDP, so there's been a couple of moves there. So one of the things that happened with John Rustad, who led this fledgling BC Conservative Party to the opposition status it's in now, one of the things that sunk him, there's probably quite a few things, but I mean that inability to kind of hold this big party together and keep the cracks from showing, where it was part of the problem that he had. Are we just seeing the same thing carry on with a new leader, or I don't know? I'm trying to kind of get a sense of whether or not this is just the same again, or is it different this time?
Well, I used to talk about how there really were two parties within the BC Conservative Party, within the BC Conservative movement, let's say more broadly, and whether they existed as two parties that we called BC United and BC Conservative, or whether they were two factions within a single party vying for power. There really were just these two different ways of being a conservative, and again, deeply divided, where you see on that more populist side of the divide a certain amount of sympathy for causes like Alberta separatism, or for that MAGA style of politics in the United States. And then on the other side of the divide there, you have people who believe in a strong united Canada, and really look darkly on much of what Donald Trump has done in the United States. Like, that's a pretty deep division over what the existential questions of the time are, how to answer them, and I think we're seeing that crack reopen now with Peter Millibar leaving, and his departure is symbolic because he plays that leadership role. He was seen as one of the leading voices on that more moderate side of the conservative aisle, and so others may look to follow suit as well. So we may be seeing a shuffling back to a different kind of organization where we do have a group of politicians, whether they have a party or not, in the middle, a right of center voice that really leans in a populist direction, and then the NDP hanging on as the government.
Well, let's talk about the NDP quickly because they also had some big moves on Friday as well. We saw a cabinet shuffle. Brenda Bailey, the now former finance minister, of course, now seeking cancer treatment. So Josie Osborne, who was in health, moving to finance, and taking health is going to be Rafi Kahlon. So a couple of big names in the caucus shuffling around. What do you make of those moves?
Well, I think the first thing to say, of course, is that it sounds like the prognosis is good for Ms. Bailey, and so that's a positive, although cancer diagnosis is always scary. I think the fact that she is still remaining at the cabinet table and will be taking a leave of absence, and Adrian Dix, another veteran of cabinets of the NDP, will be filling in for her in the jobs portfolio. But that's a good sign. But I really do think this is, if you like, a kind of shuffling of the inner cabinet of the NDP, where you have a large table with a lot of different responsibilities, but then there are inevitably in any government a small handful of people that the premier really comes to lean on and trust. And so these are three names in that group. And so Josie Osborne, who is now in the finance role, really has risen up through the ranks during her time in government. And this is her chance to really shape the direction of the province. Presumably she'll be there to introduce the next budget, and she'll have her hands full because the previous budget for this year did not go over well, and there are large challenges in terms of deficits to try and tame, but also to ensure that the province continues to be able to weather these economic storms and political storms that we're in the middle of.
Yeah, I don't know which of those portfolios is the trickier challenge here in 2026 in BC politics. Is it health and all of the challenges in healthcare and the cracks in that system, or is it dealing with these big deficits and the debt in the BC budget? I don't know which one's the bigger challenge, but she's moving from one to the other. That's Josie Osborne. It's part of that cabinet shuffle. Well, we got to leave it there just because we're out of time, but so much to unpack out of BC politics with Stuart Prest, UBC political science lecturer. We'll talk again soon, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to it.
8:30 News coming up next on CFAX 1070.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. 40 years of Fringe Magic. Experience Victoria Fringe Festival, August 26th through September 6th. Feel the roar at Pacific FC. Get your soccer tickets today at cplsoccer.com. West Shore Swap Shop and Market is at Rally at Royal Bay every Sunday. Support Goldstream Food Bank with a $2 admission or a food donation. Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 8:31 on Monday, August the 17th. Mostly sunny today. Right now, we're sitting at 13 degrees. It's a little warmer in Colwood, where we've already hit 16. Full forecast to come right now. The news begins. Here is Lisa.
BC Wildfire Update has 127 wildfires burning, 44 out of control across BC. There's been 9 new starts in the last 24 hours, and a number of those on Vancouver Island. 15 fires currently burning across Vancouver Island, including 3 up island in wilderness areas considered out of control. Firesmoke.ca shows wildfire smoke will intensify over Greater Victoria between around 10 this morning and 9 tonight. Lighter smoke will be available for you Tuesday morning for a couple of hours if you're looking to get outdoors and not have to breathe any of that in. Victoria residents will see a new political name, a party name, on the ballot of the upcoming Victoria City Council and School District 61 School Board Trustees elections. Victoria for All is entering 3 candidates. Candidates are campaigning on hot topics including renter protection, affordable housing, expanding mental health care services, and climate action. This year's municipal election happens October 17th, with advanced voting in the weeks leading up to Election Day. Today, transit workers who are members of Unifor Local 333 will begin that uniform ban, a start of job action here in Victoria, but the bus will still be picking you up and dropping you off. The Victoria Transit Riders Union is holding a rally at 4 this afternoon, a solidarity rally outside the BC Transit office at 520 Gorge Road East. The VTRU says it's deeply disappointed that BC Transit has failed to make a reasonable offer to workers after more than 16 months of negotiations. Negotiations continue between the U.S. and Canada around tariffs and the possibility of 50% tariffs being added to a number of Canadian goods starting Wednesday. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Chief Negotiator Janice Charette met virtually with the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer for an hour last night. An evening statement from an aide from LeBlanc says the meeting was constructive and they're still talking.
Talks have intensified in recent weeks since U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order to impose 50% tariffs this Wednesday that would apply to a variety of goods from cement to hockey sticks. The Americans said the new levies were a response to provincial bans on U.S. liquor, the supply-managed dairy system, and quotas on some U.S. vehicles. The meeting took place virtually because Sunday was Greer's birthday.
On Friday, Greer said talks have been constructive, but insists Canada must lift retaliatory measures to avoid the new tariffs from coming into play. It's been 60 days since the U.S. and Iran signed that memorandum of understanding that was billed as the first step to wind down the war in Iran. Of course, we haven't seen that happen. No progress made. Both sides trading attacks and barbs from the other in recent weeks. The U.S. president also issuing a fresh threat on the Gulf nation of Oman as Oman and Iran discuss plans to patrol the Strait of Hormuz.
Iran has said today that they are getting close to a final agreement where those two countries would figure out a way to manage the Strait of Hormuz. The administration, of course, has maintained that this can be under control of no country, despite the president in recent days saying the United States controls it and even suggesting that he would try to make it a U.S. territory. He did not, of course, explain how he would do that, and Iran pushed back very strongly, saying this is in Iranian hands.
And in entertainment news, Olivia Harrison, the widow of George Harrison, is set to take part in a book tour for the upcoming release of The Third Eye, Early Photographs photo book.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say it's all right.
The tour includes 2 stops, one in New York on October the 6th and the second in Los Angeles, October the 11th. Tickets for both shows are available now. The Third Eye, Early Photographs, is being described as the first ever collection of George Harrison's personal photos taken between 1963 and 1970. It'll be out October the 6th. I'm Mark Mayfield.
That's your news to 8:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, do you think the U.S. president will actually follow through on the new tariff threat against Canada come Wednesday? 64% say yes. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com, Twitter X, also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 8:37.
Thank you, Lisa. What is it? It's 13 degrees. And it's going to be 24 eventually as a high, maybe feeling a bit warmer in the humidity. That's what you expect today, and I'll get you the full forecast for the week in just a moment. Right now to the sports. Lots going on in the wide world of sports. Let's start in little baseball action. The Toronto Blue Jays have a chance to recharge before continuing their playoff push. The Jays are off again today after going 11-6 over a stretch of games on 17 straight days. They haven't had a break in 17 days. The successful run put the Jays in the mix for the American League wildcard spot entering the second half of August. And by the way, they played yesterday against New York, and it was a loss. 4-3 in 10 innings for the Jays just before this day off. Seattle Mariners also in action yesterday. They got a 3-2 win over the Houston Astros. Mariners 2.5 games out of an AL wildcard berth. In lacrosse, Victoria Shamrocks continuing the WLA final series tonight with 2 games. Or I should say with Game 2 coming up tonight at the Coquitlam Sports Centre. Shamrocks opened the series with Game 1 and a win, 7-6 on Saturday night over the Coquitlam Adanacs. So Game 2 tonight, Shamrocks leading 1-0. Now, switching over to the Junior A Shamrocks, because they're also going. They're at the Minto Cup. Yesterday was a loss, 11-8 to the Calgary Mountaineers in the round-robin stage of the tournament. Next game up is tonight. It's the Raiders of Calgary. Game 2 of the round-robin. Each team, there's 4 teams in total, they'll all play each other once before they move on to the knockout stage. And that is your CFAX 1070 Sports. It is 8:39. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season. Big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort. South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, I think we're clear of it, but there were tow trucks earlier, according to our listeners, removing a broken down vehicle on the Pat Bay Highway near Island View, just south of that. It wasn't causing too much trouble, and I don't really see any trouble right now. But if you are by there and you still see that causing any issues, you can update us at 7-10-10. But while it was there, traffic was still getting around pretty okay. No other major blips on the commute this morning. BC Ferry's been busy. 9 o'clock sailing is full. From Sports Bay to Tsawwassen, your next available vessel with some vehicle deck space is the 10. And for the weather forecast, sunny today, maybe some haze at times. Highs of 24, a humidex of 28, so feeling a little warmer in the humidity. Clear skies tonight, lows to 13. Tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. Highs of 23, humidex of 28, very similar to today. Wednesday and Thursday, kind of the same, with mostly sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-20s. Kind of Friday into the weekend, clouds are going to be forming a bit more so. We don't necessarily see rain yet in the forecast, but definitely getting more overcast for the weekend. Right now, temperatures are climbing in Greater Victoria. In Oak Bay, right now it's 13 degrees. In Shawnigan Lake, it is 16. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto starting the day up. We are up 35 points to 36,765. For the Dow, it is down by 169 to 53,562. The Canadian dollar is at 72.1 cents U.S., down just a tiny fraction from the previous close.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, it's time to check in on the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50. This is the 50/50 raffle radio station-wide that we're doing for CFAX Santa's Anonymous and their Kids Count program, which is how they help kids in the greater Victoria area beyond Christmas. And I'm happy to say it's up and over $22,000, Lisa. That's the jackpot.
Did very well over the weekend.
Huge weekend. So the specific number is $22,445. Winner takes half in the 50/50. The other half going, of course, to CFAX Santa's Anonymous, helping out our favorite charity here.
You win, we win.
It's such a big number.
Well, it's getting there. I mean, I'm hoping for a lot more than that. I'd like to see double that.
I just remember when we first launched this thing at the beginning of summer, every day it would be like, it's reached a few hundred. It was...
We didn't know how it was going to go. It was the first time for it.
Look at this. This is amazing. If you want to take part, here's how you do it. You go to CFAX1070.com. You'll see the big button, Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50. You click on that. You buy the tickets online right through there. You can buy a single ticket for $10, 5-pack for $25, 20-pack for $50. It's just like a 50/50 raffle. The baseball game. You buy more tickets, you get a bit of a deal on the tickets.
But
Same
this
thing.
one's extended. This goes to the end of August.
Yeah. So Friday, August 28th at 7 o'clock in the morning, right here on this radio show, we are going to do the draw and pick a winning number. But you got until then to buy the tickets. Thursday, the 27th of August at 5 p.m. is the cutoff time. We actually have to stop selling tickets then.
10 days from today.
But that's if we even have any left. We could sell this thing out. There's a finite number of tickets. So I'm hoping we sell it out. I hope we sell every single ticket for this 50/50.
Agreed.
If you want to check it out, CFAX1070.com. Go there and we'll wish you luck. I can't take part though.
That's why we wish you luck, because we can't play.
Yeah.
We play along vicariously at home with you. So if you win, we win.
Hey, you can follow CFAX so many ways. Listen to us on your AM radio. Listen to us on the iHeartRadio app if you so choose. Or watch us on CTV Vancouver Island. We're just live on the TV there. On Crave, you can stream us. Or you can go to YouTube and stream the show on YouTube. And you can even go back and listen in hindsight. Maybe you missed all of our spider talk today. If you're just joining us, we had a wild ride for the first 2 hours of the show because the wolf spiders are starting to come out around Greater Victoria and they're starting to get into people's houses. They do this every year. This is nothing new, but we had a great conversation, people sharing their stories about the spiders, people talking about their tips. A lot of interesting kind of home remedy style tips for keeping the spiders out. I kind of want to try some of these. If you missed the conversation and you want to catch up on that and catch up on our listener tips that kind of just generated over the course of a couple of hours, that's one of the things you can do. Go back and listen to episodes of Ryan and Lisa in podcast form, either on YouTube or on any of your favorite podcast services. You got the Spotifys, you got Apple Podcast, anywhere you use. If you just type in Ryan and Lisa podcast, you can go back and listen to the episodes in your own time. So much spider news to go over today.
Oh, lots of good recipes, too.
Yeah, don't want you to miss it. 8:45, let's get to the headlines. What's going on, Lisa?
StatsCan's latest recipe on the annual rate of inflation is out. That accelerated by 3% in the month of July as drivers once again paying more to fill up. Inflation has cooled to 2.8% in June as the U.S. and Iran worked towards that peace agreement, but then it didn't happen. That pushed global gas prices even higher. We are 60 days out from that memorandum of understanding between the U.S. and Iran, and nothing has occurred. StatsCan says consumers also paying more for airfares and travel tours last month due to jet fuel being more expensive and the FIFA World Cup driving up demand for U.S. destinations. Canadians found some relief for the grocery aisle as annual price hikes on food cooled sharply by 3.1% from 3.9%. But the pressure was easing on fresh vegetables and chicken products, but fresh fruit was the expensive one, rising faster than in June. Provincially, BC sat at 2.9%, up just slightly from 2.8%. For Victoria, city by city, 3.5%, which is a big jump from 2.9%. And Vancouver stayed steady at 3%. Facebook and Instagram's parent company facing a major legal fight this week in California. California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey accusing Meta of contributing to the youth mental health crisis by knowingly and deliberately getting children addicted to its platforms. It also claims Meta routinely collected data on kids under the age of 13 without parental consent, which is a violation of federal laws. Dozens of states filed the lawsuit 3 years ago, and the first trial is set to begin tomorrow, with the other 25 states expected to have trials later on. And that is your news to 8:47.
Coming up next, we're getting new information about how police responded to the tragedy that unfolded in Tumbler Ridge. An 18-year-old shot and killed 8 people before dying by suicide. We all still have questions ahead of the results of the coroner's inquest, and a subsequent public inquiry remains on the table. But CTV News and a group of media outlets did go to court, obtained hundreds of pages of heavily redacted documents. What did we learn in those documents? We're going to be talking to the CTV reporter working on that story next.
CFAX 1070 wants you to roar with the BC Lions.
It's Josh and Jade. How does you, 3 friends, and the BC Lions sound?
We can make it happen. All you got to do is listen.
This week, listen to Josh and Jade afternoons on CFAX 1070 for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to this weekend's home game at BC Place. Lions, Riders, and you. And you. Listen for your chance to win.
Touchdown, BC Lions!
Get details now at CFAX1070.com.
What a play!
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Heading out for a summer road trip? Well, shop at Thrifty Foods. Swipe your Scene Plus card and save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See in store for details. On the roads, just that incident on the Pat Bay Highway, which isn't really causing much of a backup, but it is something to watch for, as tow trucks earlier were clearing a broken down vehicle near Island View. As far as I know, it might still be just sort of clearing up, but if you have any updates, you can text me at 71010. It was the only blip on the morning commute. Everything else was looking good. We've had a busy day at BC Ferries. 7 o'clock is full from Swartz Bay to Swanson. 10 o'clock is your next available vessel with vehicle deck space. And in the weather, sunny today, highs of 24, maybe even feeling a bit warmer in the humidity. And right now at the Victoria International Airport, the temperature is 13 degrees.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
It's been 6 months now since 8 people were shot and killed in the community of Tumbler Ridge, and we're still learning new information about how it all went down, including how police responded to the tragedy. We've got new documents released to media, heavily redacted, but what have we learned from those documents? CTV's Martin McMahon is joining us to walk us through what they found, and thank you for joining us here. Hello.
Yes, good morning, Ryan. Definitely these documents sort of peel back the onion a bit in terms of what happened on that tragic day in February and give us some insight into what police were dealing with, what the community was dealing with as the shooting unfolded.
Now, let's start with what these documents are. Where do they come from and what do they cover?
So it's various police documents, including search warrants, information to obtain, investigative summaries. So we sort of get a sense of what investigators are dealing with. But as you mentioned, heavily redacted, and there's lots of reasonable things in there in terms of you would expect in a police document that is going to be released publicly, whether that's removing private information of the various individuals who provided statements, etc. But really what they tell us is what exactly unfolded in general terms. So we get a sense of just the chaos that was unfolding in Tumbler Ridge. Somebody called in a traffic call saying that an SUV had crashed into a snowbank and erratically driven away. And so you start to see something is a little off. And then a call comes in about 2 bodies found at the Van Rootselaar home. So Jesse Van Rootselaar, the shooter. And we later learned that was Van Rootselaar's mother and half-brother who were killed. So you start to see these documents paint a story of how things unfolded. Now, the times were removed on the documents that were eventually released to us, but they start to illustrate what police are dealing with. Then we hear about, as we read these documents, the details on the police response. So what they found as they entered the school, and I'm not going to get into all the grisly details, but in general terms, the police are shot at. So that was a new detail. We didn't know the full specifics of what they were dealing with when they went to the school. Obviously, the shooter died by suicide. Everyone's aware of that by now. But this sort of paints the picture that there was an exchange of gunfire, or the shooter at least shot at police before the shooter killed herself. So it really does show what police were dealing with and just how chaotic it was. Another element, the confusion from police about the number of shooters, and that was tied into the fact that the shooter was transgender and had changed name or gone by different names at different parts of that process. And so that fact had actually, police were getting reports in about X person being a suspect or Y person being a suspect, but it ended up being the same person ultimately. And so that added some confusion to the police response as well. So these documents don't tell the full story, but they start to give us some insight into just what police had to handle in a very dynamic and obviously tragic situation.
Wow. And yeah, just the way you described that, trying to imagine being a first responder, whether you're taking emergency calls, whether you're the police trying to sort it out, that's a lot coming at you very fast.
Yes. And as I mentioned, in terms of what the police were dealing with at the school, I mean, any sort of shooting where people are seriously injured or killed is a tragedy in and of itself. But I mean, from interviewing various first responders over the years, whenever it involves children, whenever it involves something happening at a school like this, it adds another layer of distress for everybody involved. And the shooter was obviously 18, a former student who had dropped out of the school essentially, or was no longer at the school. The victims, a number of them were students of the school, and obviously there were educators as well that were killed or traumatized by what happened here. So that adds another element, the fact that this all unfolded at a school. So, and we're learning other details in these documents that are disturbing in their own way, but will inform the investigation. For example, I assume that a lot of people would suspect that some of this shooting was captured by CCTV, just given the amount of recording that's done in schools and in various buildings these days, just for security reasons. But we do learn in these documents explicitly that the shooting was captured on CCTV, which is obviously will help investigators piece things together. But it's also sad, obviously, that record exists in its own way.
Now, you mentioned that investigations into this still continue. There's a coroner's inquest. There's many other processes playing out. There's also the investigation into OpenAI and its role here. How does this fit into all of that? These documents we have here. I know this is just media obtaining some of these documents, but how does it fit into the bigger picture of all these different investigations that still need to play out?
Yes. So one of the documents is actually a production order that was sent to OpenAI, the artificial intelligence company that you've mentioned there. People will be familiar with their app, ChatGPT. And so this production order asks for communication and subscriber information. This is related to Jesse Van Rootselaar, the shooter. And in those documents, another interesting insight is that the FBI contacted the RCMP after the shooting and alerted them to 2 accounts that were linked to Van Rootselaar. And then there's also some insight in there that a police officer learned about details related to the OpenAI connection in a Wall Street Journal report, which, I mean, you always have this sense with investigators that they're all knowing, and certainly when we're talking about people's use of an app in a different country and online and all of the complications of that, you don't expect investigators to know everything right away. So I'm certainly not being critical of the police on that front, but it is interesting insight that the officers ultimately learned about part of this OpenAI component based on a Wall Street Journal report.
Wow. Well, much more in this that you can find if you look for my guest, Martin McMahon's article. You can find it on CTV, find his work there. But thank you for talking us through some of what we've learned through these documents 6 months on after the Tumbler Ridge tragedy. Much appreciated.
Thanks for having me on, Ryan.
All right. Yeah. And CTV Vancouver Island, CTV Vancouver, all of these different websites. You can find the work through those. But we got to leave it there for today. Thanks for listening, everybody, and being here. We've got more Guns N' Roses tickets to give away tomorrow. Join us then.